The college football experience week 10 preview and picks episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/SGPN. Use the promo code SGPN for a first deposit match up to $100. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today, people. We're also brought to you by the MMA Gambling Podcast. They just launched their YouTube channel. Oh, yeah. And to celebrate, we're giving away an MMA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/MMA hoodie for all the details. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Brock Purdy from Iowa State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
College football experience week 10 preview and picks episode. Are we really on week 10? I mean, this is tough. And shout out to Weehawk. I'm wearing his Western Carolina shirt that he sent me. Shout out to the to Western Carolina. They need to get their shit together, get in the FCS playoffs, but let's talk. I mean, we got a loaded episode for you. Some of this week is awesome. I'm excited to break it down for you. We got crazy news happening. It's got to be absolutely fantastic. But perhaps you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, and that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
You got to see that in action last night, today. Fucking beautiful. That's why they need to get that bullshit MAC championship out of Detroit, that fucking roller rink. You know what I mean? Play it outdoors the way MACtion football is meant to be.
I did see the worst take of the year.
Worst take of the year. Some California guys saying every MAC game should be in a dome.
Yeah.
Oh
my goodness.
Yeah.
You guys are a couple of California guys.
It's true.
It wasn't you saying that, was it?
Hell no. Patty, did you get liquored up and you say?
Yeah, no. If I got liquored up, I would have been spewing obscenities at that guy. It was close enough as is, but pathetic.
Pathetic.
That guy's got like 90,000 followers. He's on The Athletic. That is too much influence to have that opinion.
Come on. Flush that place down. Aren't they the New York Times? Didn't they crown UConn a fucking national championship? Fuck them. All right. Look, I'm joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh.
Let's go. This week's fire, man.
It is.
I'm getting super excited. I've been all week. I've been moving into a new house. Hey, Patty C helped me, came through.
No, the back is still talking to me, but it's almost back.
Saying.
Not as young as you once were.
That's right.
Not as good as you used to be or something like that.
Yeah. Not even as good as I once was for a second. All right.
Right.
Whatever they did.
But man, I mean, look, I've been trying to get all that shit out the way to focus on this awesome week of college football. We are joined by third man in the booth, the DFS god himself. Come play DFS with us. We tweet that out all the time at TCE on SGPN. So give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, free lot giving, farmer, Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. What's going on, guys?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, the great thing about this week, we got a true headliner game, and a great list of supporting cast games.
I hope you're referring to, with me playing that song, the final Bedlam, because are you guys not caught up on all this news going on with Bedlam?
Do tell.
Well, Mike Gundy saying it was more of a rivalry back then when he played. He also said the summer before my sophomore year, I would go to parties in Oklahoma City. Well, first, hold on. No, I'm sorry. First, he started off by saying that Brian Bosworth, when he was a freshman, he came in 1986, and Bosworth spat on Mike Gundy, hit him right in the face. Right? So he said Gundy returned the favor. And then he said this also the summer before his sophomore year, he would go to parties in Oklahoma City, and they would say, well, Brian Bosworth and Paul Migliziano and some of those other guys were there, and this is what he's saying. And he goes, he goes, I had to make a decision whether we were going to have a confrontation there. Who was with me? Because I mean, those guys, I can kick them in the shin and run like hell, but I'm not dumb. Right. But hold on. He goes, so we had to make those business decisions because I mean, what kind of frame of mind was Brian going to be in at that point? I don't know if he had taken his vitamin C and had a few drinks His roid rage. Well, he might not be a guy you want to talk to at that point. Yeah, vitamin C, catch it. Yeah. You know, he'd get real red across his face talking about Bosworth. So here's what I love. Brian Bosworth took to social media and said, guess what, Coach G? Bedlam is still a rivalry and Big Brother still wants to whoop your ass. Right. And he goes, how about we meet this Saturday at your place? Let's say the 50-yard line so we can exchange pleasantries the old fashioned way, face to face. I'll see you there. Fuck yes.
I love it.
That is
fuck yes.
A high school bully.
Let's go.
Proposal if I've ever heard one.
Gosh.
3 o'clock, 50-yard line.
Do you realize how much better football used to be?
It's almost like the Karate Kid remake.
It is. It really.
Imagine Bosworth as a Cobra Kai. I could see that.
Yeah,
pretty easy.
I mean, this thing made my day.
So is Oklahoma City more of an OU town or a Poke town?
No, it's more OU because it's close. Norman's only like 20 minutes away. So,
and I think people, it's kind of like not Ohio State or something, maybe like Michigan, where most of the state is an Oklahoma fan unless they went to Oklahoma State. Is that true? Can we get somebody in Oklahoma to confirm that?
That's got to be the case.
Yeah,
when you are that
so, right?
Yeah. But
dominant of a program.
What happened to the days where like you would get, this is awesome. This is the football we grew up on, of like the true hatred. You go to he's at a house party in Oklahoma City. Let's get the guys and go fuck up this quarterback from Oklahoma State. Man, these were the days.
How old are they now? They Mike Gundy was a man. He was 40.
Who are you taking in that fight?
That was probably what, 15 years ago.
Who are you taking to that fight? Old quarterback or old Bosworth?
I think Bosworth snaps his neck, of course. But
I don't know. I think Bosworth has gone soft. I think he went Hollywood.
All those Dr. Pepper.
And it's true. Gundy, they asked him, I think, last year, what he was doing in the offseason, and he was out hunting rattlesnakes. Ooh. So, I mean, kind of a badass. I don't fuck with rattlesnakes. I don't fuck with any snakes.
No. Yeah.
If the snake goes by, I don't care if it's a garden snake. I'm on the other side of the fence.
That's right.
All right.
I mean, look, Bosworth abandoned that mullet a long time ago, and Gundy kept that thing for a long time. I think mullet gives you some kind of redneck like fighting powers.
Dude,
redneck strength.
I
mean, how great is that? That's the best storyline. That's the best storyline that he got, the old rivalry. He gets tackled. He gets his face spit on. Then he's having cocktails he goes to a house party. And he's got to worry about himself because Bosworth found out and another player, and they're going to go whoop his ass. This is how football should be throughout America, right?
Yeah. They just took high school and put it in college. That's essentially what they did.
I bet you Bosworth would steal his girl though.
Oh, that's 100%
for sure.
Wait,
a Boz?
I'm sorry. Should we do this podcast or should I just read from this great book here? All right. Yep, he did steal his girl.
Page 52, right there.
That's right.
Page 146. He also says he had the biggest dick in Oklahoma history. All right, despite taking roids.
I don't know. Gundy's got the quarterback-ish kind of charms.
Yeah, he's got the mullet.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's a big play in Stillwater, or that's tough to take a guy's girl if he's rocking a power mullet like that.
All right.
Good luck.
This is making the episode. All
Nice.
right. We're just gonna own that right there.
There you go.
I almost feel like we need to do a Zoom. If you haven't read, folks, if you have not read, once again, youtube.com/the college experience. Dude, how fucking great is this cover? I mean, this guy.
Pop
This
collar,
guy.
what a douchebag.
Yeah, he's either the most or the least.
He ran through
self-aware
more
human being.
vagina than anyone in the history of mankind. Wilt Chamberlain, my ass. All right. This guy dominates at life. Okay.
Boz,
Please meet at the 50-yard line, Gundy. Please, let's go. Look, we have some other news too. The Big 12, ACC. Hey, the ACC. You see, they released their protected or their schedules, not necessarily the weeks, but
they tweaked their protected rivalry.
Oh, Miami and Virginia Tech's back.
Thank
I
you.
like it.
It's back.
I feel like we were part of that. We complained.
Thank you.
We
Thank
made
you.
it. We made
Yeah.
a lot of noise, and they fixed it.
And so
It
the
wasn't
Big
really. It was gone. It was gone 1 year.
Well, they had
No,
planned
but
on.
had Cal, Stanford, and SMU not came, that was like
I
the
got you.
outlook for
I
the
got you.
future.
Okay.
Now they just announced the Big 12s and only protecting 4 rivalries, which I actually think they fucked up with here personally. The only Big 12 rivalries that are projected: Arizona State, the Dust Bowl. We love that. We love that. The Holy War, BYU, Utah, which thank you, Lord. Baylor, TCU, the it's not the Butt Bowl. Baylor, Texas Tech is the Butt Bowl, but they protect Baylor, TCU, which I know you'd said it had been happening before
Apparently
the Butt Bowl.
that's like a really big one.
I still think the Butt Bowl should happen every year, personally. But then
Wait,
the Sunflower
what is the
Showdown,
Butt Bowl again?
Baylor, Texas Tech.
Baylor, Texas.
But then the Sunflower Showdown, Kansas State. See, I would have taken it a couple more. Farmageddon, Iowa State, Kansas State needs to happen every year.
Yeah.
And then I would have added a new one because you're trying to build this one up. Cincinnati, West Virginia should happen every year, Patty C.
I like it.
Especially when Cincinnati hires Rich Rod, who you've been saying.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I think it's pretty clear that they weren't trying to have 2 protected rivalries for one team. So like the Kansas State or the Kansas Iowa State one, whatever you said there, then there would be 2 for that team, and that just wouldn't work. So in general, I think the best rivalries are now gone, and the other ones I think you're trying to force stuff.
I disagree. The best rivalry is BYU Utah. Well, if you're gonna get rid of, I don't know, BYU Utah is on the level of Bedlam to me.
Oklahoma Texas.
Yes, that's the best one. Yeah.
Okay.
The best rivalry is gone.
Yeah.
What are
The
some
Holy
other
War though coming back, and also the Dust Bowl is fun, man. Arizona State have had some fucking classics.
Oh yeah. I mean,
that's a good
those
one.
are ones where you definitely want, and also Texas is the only state with multiple teams that they didn't protect every rivalry because it would have been impossible. So they protected the Utah rivalry, they protected the Arizona rivalry. What other state? And they protected the Kansas versus Kansas State.
In my opinion, like they should have either had. So Colorado was part of the Big 7/Big 8. They have long historic rivalries with Iowa State, Kansas State, and Oklahoma State. Give them one of those every year, but also
maybe they're waiting for Nebraska to come back to give them that one.
Yeah, we'll see when that happens.
Yeah.
But meth heads versus Mormons should happen every year.
Well, at least we're getting it this
Can we
week.
agree? Yeah, we are getting it this week. But meth heads, Mormons every year should happen.
That is fun.
A Texas one was preserved. I mean, like we said, the Baylor TCU is that the best rivalry in Texas that remains? I mean,
no, because Texas A&M is back.
Okay, that's true, but that was in the Big 12 this year.
With
Texas leaving,
okay.
Did Texas even have was Texas involved in the best rivalry in Texas within the Big 12? Or was TCU Baylor a better rivalry than anything?
Is that a better rivalry? If anything, I think TCU SMU was a bigger rivalry than TCU Baylor.
That's
I don't know,
debate.
but TCU Baylor goes back a fucking long way too. Though,
Both of those are about equal, and I've seen a lot of publications going back and forth. In fact, I've looked into this.
One thing you want is longevity, but you can't. It's not just longevity. You got to have some other things in there to make it a really great rivalry, not just because they've been playing for 130 years.
Yeah. Well, TCU Baylor of late has had implications as well. Several games where I mean, what
2014 was it?
Yeah,
13,
Baylor knocked
13
TCU
or
out
14,
of the
yeah.
As an outsider, I don't feel like that's a great rivalry. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think it's all right.
What-
I think
what-
you're a Big 12 hater. Another Big 12 hater.
yeah.
So
what
I mean,
was better is my question. Was Texas Baylor better? Was Texas TCU better? Was Texas Tech better?
I like that one. Texas
I
Tech.
like that one too.
Yeah.
It's all right.
But if I'm thinking of like
There's
top
been some
20,
classics.
top 25 rivalries in
Dude.
all of college football, I'm not thinking TCU Baylor.
Texas Tech was like 3 overtimes last year. They have the Crabtree Mike Leach moment.
It's
you got
got
some
some great
fucking
moments.
heat. You got some heat in that game. I don't know. I feel like they
I also feel like West Texas, like Texas Tech is on a little island out there, holding down West Texas. Whereas I mean, Austin seems like it's kind of central Texas, but everything on that line, Dallas, Austin, not San Antonio, but Houston, they're all kind of the eastern part of the state. And as far as a Power 5 team, Texas Tech kind of the only one in the western part of the state. So East Texas, West Texas, +1. They both have Texas in their name. Texas Tech. That is kind of fun. Black and white. I don't know.
So the ACC coaches, by the way, big fan of what's going on. Whether it's Cristobal, just clock management, or have you guys catch Dave Doran's comments when they beat Clemson?
This was about like the
Steve Smith can kiss his ass.
Yeah.
Steve Smith can kiss his ass.
Well, Steve Smith was an idiot because he said NC State's a basketball school. It's like
In 19,
Huh?
Steve Smith, the last game he saw was the Olajuwon Drexler National Championship against David Thompson and company.
Jimmy V's been gone for a little while.
But still hilarious. Dave Doran at the end of that end of the game saying he can kiss his ass. And then you had on the other side of that, Dabo Swinney. Did you guys catch him on that radio show? That's gold.
Oh, I heard he
This
cursed
is
out a fan.
fucking
Essentially,
gold. His own radio show. That's part of his, through the contract. His fans calling him out. And then Dabo went off on like a 5-minute rant saying, "You're part of the problem." And by the way, the caller was Tyler in Spartanburg. And he goes, "That's the problem. We've won 12, 10 plus win seasons, right? We've won 12, 10 plus 10 seasons in a row. That's happened 3 times in 150 years. Clemson ain't sniffing a national championship for 35 years. We've won 2 in 7 years. And there's only 2 other teams that could say that, Georgia and Alabama. Is it a bad year? Yeah. And it's my responsibility. I take 100% responsibility for it. But all the crap you're thinking, all these narratives you read, listen, man, you can have your own opinion all you want. You can apply for the job and good luck to you. And look, the comment did, the caller did say that he makes $11 million a year. And he's calling him out for making $11 million a year and being 4-4. Now, there's 2 sides of this. I do agree with Dabo on,
Yeah, don't worry about how much money I make.
Yeah, and he has had an incredible run. But also when Dabo says you can apply for the job and good luck to you, I'll take $11 million a year.
Also, kind of funny that Dabo had all those stats ready.
Yeah.
Like he's living in the past, kind of like the things are becoming unhinged, and he's just starting to lose it.
Well, Dabo also said, "I started as the lowest paid coach in the business, and I worked my ass off. I'm not going to let this smart ass kid on the phone," which, by the way, the kid was like 50, tell me how to do my job. Right? This was great. College football is the greatest.
Tyler,
can we just talk about this?
give that man his shine for getting under Dabo's skin.
Yeah, and then Dabo even went off and said, "I work for the board of trustees. I don't work for you. I work for the board of trustees, the president, and the athletic director. And if they're tired of me leading this program, all they got to do is let me know." All right, yeah, because
Dabo's coming unhinged over there.
What's happening?
We need to find Tyler from Spartanburg and have him on the show. Talk
love
to
Tyler
him.
from Spartanburg. Love Tyler from Spartanburg. Now, the thing is he's 4-4. Dabo is. Notre Dame's on deck. I know we're going to talk about this game in a little bit, but
He's 4-4, but he should have beaten the number 4 team in the country.
Yeah.
They're not that bad.
Is he going to use the portal?
They're not that good.
When does he use the portal? I guarantee you. You know what this screams like? 5-minute tirade? That means he's using the portal in the offseason.
Yeah.
You want to wager on that?
I bet he goes and gets a couple at least.
I mean, he's a complete idiot if he isn't. He tried it his way. It's not working. It's time to adapt.
Yeah. They don't have any talent. When you watch them, like at the skill position players, they all suck, in my opinion. Like they all look like
a couple decent running backs, but the receivers, I mean, because they were pumping out like NFL caliber receivers almost every 2 years, and that's dried up.
even Shipley's like solid, but he's not a breaker. They don't have anyone that can like break like a fucking 70-yard touchdown.
Let me ask you this though, because Georgia apparently doesn't take much in the portal. I want to say they only got a couple guys. So is a couple guys enough, or is it just the fact that Dabo?
I mean, Georgia was still wheeling and dealing. Their starting wideouts are from the portal. I mean, the year prior, they brought in JT Daniels when he went 6-0 as a starter there.
You got to selectively choose to bolster. Like Ohio State, Michigan, they don't bring in a ton either, but Alabama selectively choose.
Jameer Gibbs, Alabama, and
bring in like
Jermaine
really
Burton,
good, bring in like top notch guys, and Clemson should be able to do that.
I agree that there is something being left on the table. I'm not completely out on being able to win without the portal, but if you don't have the guys and you're doing it, then you're kind of stupid for not doing it.
All right, look, any other notes that Connor Stallions, not the porn star actor that there's got to be porns made of this guy soon, right? The industry is look, he's no longer going to coach in college football. There's a career for you, Connor.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you,
I gotta just pick up the phone. One phone call. All right, not to me, but I'm saying
Pornhub is dying for new storylines anyway. We got some you can mix this into a porn somehow.
With that stash, Patty C could be a porn director over there.
That's right. That's right. I got Connor Stallions. He's wearing the glasses. I'm wearing the glasses. We're both recording each other. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Starring in the hung jury. All right. Connor Stallions. How about this? The internet is blowing up about him looking like he's the Central Michigan assistant coach when they played Michigan State the first week of the season on a Friday night. I got to be honest. At first I thought it was bullshit. Then I compared photos. Looks like it's him. But, Jim McElwain saying he's investigating it after last night's awesome Central Michigan action game in the snow. I hope you tuned in. That game is better than fucking 90% of college football. That was a great fucking game last night.
That was a great comeback. Wait, the Northern Illinois one.
No, Central Michigan was one that
came back. Yeah.
No, they were up the whole game. Northern Illinois came back and then CMU won it.
Right.
But Connor Stallions, I mean, this is a hilarious thing here because that would be a major infraction. And this makes you think that this has to be rogue, right? Like Michigan couldn't have been on board with this. And if so, Central Michigan wouldn't be on board with this, I would think. Like, this makes him look like a fucking, if it's really him, this is great. You know what it reminded me of when you go look, because he's wearing sunglasses at night. You guys should Google image this right now.
I've seen it.
He looks like there's a part of the movie Cable Guy where Jim Carrey beats the shit out of somebody. And they release he goes in disguise to beat somebody up, and they release like the portrait, police sketch, and it looks like the way Connor Stallions was on the sidelines in East Lansing, fucking phenomenal. But NC Nick, do you think this was orchestrated by Michigan, or do you think this is just him?
A little hard to believe that Central Michigan and Michigan were in cahoots against Michigan State. Apparently, I don't think there's that kind of communication between the two schools. So I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see what comes out of this.
It seems more likely to me is Central Michigan knows exactly who it is. It's not Connor Stallions, and they're just saying, maybe it is Connor Stallions. Maybe he's snooping around. Maybe Michigan's up to no good. Fuck
I
Michigan.
Like that angle.
Well, and Weehawk's right, because he had like the press pass on. Like Nick, when we were at the Wyoming game, we had the press passes, but there's a different pass for actually being on the fucking sideline. So he actually had the sidelines.
Once the game starts.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It looked like he was a coach, right?
That's what I'm saying. He's wearing the same pants, same like shirt
that
as the
makes
other
you
coaches.
Believe it has to be.
Or no, this is a guy that was fucking in the Navy, so maybe he
a master
studied
of disguise.
I don't know.
Infiltrated.
This is fantastic. And then there's the other side of this. We still don't know who hired the search firm, which I think could be the most potential hilarious thing of this whole fucking thing. Is that wait a second? And I know Ohio State asked the NCAA last year about the rules on. So apparently you can go and steal signs at other teams' as long as it's not in the regular season, according to the NCAA's rules, right?
Yeah, they said what can you go to a bowl game to?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, and that was
that
was
conference
the NCAA
championship too, I think.
Okay,
right. So Ohio State basically asked, why would they ask? Why would they ask?
Right. Unless they already knew.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like, well, first off, that's the best part about all this is apparently all these coaches knew. No one fucking said anything.
Yeah.
Because it may I think everyone
because it probably happens everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
That's
now
the
though,
thing, like, what's a big deal behind it? Also, like, as a team, you should change up your signals week to week.
I don't know. It's all very. I can't say it's all very stupid. It's a team breaking the rules, right? They should get punished. But if everyone's breaking the rules, you should punish them all.
Wait a second.
You should.
If he's going rogue, like if he just like, let's say he made up. No,
depending
way.
on the circumstances.
Why would Central Michigan do it? What would they get out of that?
That's true. I don't know. Being in cahoots.
There's no way. There's no way.
Trading notes. Maybe he's like
unless he was buddies with like a GA
co-operator. He works
GA
for both
that
of
was
them.
there. You know what I mean? That maybe let him on. I don't know, but I this is a fucking fascinating story. But then I love the element that someone hired a search firm and we still don't know who. That Washington Post article. Well, that's even more hilarious because in the article that I read was talking about how they would go into. They basically hacked into Michigan computers. So I'm like, wait, that's a felony. if that's true, right? The search firm or whoever hired the search firm might be doing more wrong than the fucking Michigan coaches. You know what I mean?
Actually, like
than Connor Stallions.
What would be the wrongdoing in hiring?
Well, if you hacked into Michigan computers,
well, yeah, if they hacked in, yeah.
This is why this story could be amazing. Please let this be true. And the irony of just like, no, you're cheating. They're stealing signs. Guess what? We're gonna hire someone to break into your shit. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Tell you what,
Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio State's going to be at an all-time high.
Please let it be Ohio State. Please let it be Ohio State.
Yeah.
All I know is that I know me and Noah have a ticket for Michigan over 10.5 wins. And I don't want it ruined by some bullshit scandal investigation thing.
Some stallion guy. All right, folks. Look, we're going to get to picking games now. But before I do that, I want to tell you that the College Football Experience Week 10 Preview and Picks episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Yes. Oh, man. I mean, PrizePicks it's the most fun I've had in a long time. I mean, look, I've always lobbied. Why didn't they have this shit for years? All right. The fact that you can do 2 players from different sports, long overdue. All right. And I'll get into it. With basketball season here, you can now pick the combo projections across football and basketball with the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports. For example, LeBron James or Travis Kelce at, 10.5 combo of 3-pointers made and receptions in a game. All right. And look, want to play alongside some of PrizePicks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and comedian Andrew Scholes. You can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app, essentially, to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each and every week. So PrizePicks even offers a reboot policy so that, if you want to stay in your, let's say Kelce doesn't play, say you got the clap. I don't know, right? You got something, right?
What are you trying to say about Taylor Swift?
But I don't know. Let's just say he doesn't play. Don't worry. You can have that rolled over essentially to, you can get it rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. You got to love that. I mean, how many DFS rosters have we had burned when we find out a guy just didn't play? All right.
Too many.
Look, folks, what are you doing? All right, go to prizepicks.com/SGPN. Use that promo code SGPN for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/SGPN. Promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by the MMA Gambling Podcast. Yes, the MMA Gambling Podcast just launched their YouTube channel. Get on over there, subscribe. And in honor of that, we're giving away an MMA Gambling Podcast hoodie to one lucky winner. All right, look, it's winter. You're going to need a sweatshirt. And I truly believe this. I know we've talked about this before, but I think I'm less likely to fight someone who's wearing an MMA Gambling Podcast sweatshirt. Anything MMA related, I'm less likely to fight.
Yes.
All right. So You can go to the bars, with your gal, and not have to worry about some lug nut trying to fuck, move in on your squirrel. So you can wear your MMA shirt, and he's gonna think, before maybe he thinks about, punching you in the face. But no, in this situation, you're wearing your MMA sweatshirt, and your wife, your girl, the random chick at the bar, Linda, she's going to be more interested in you. You know MMA? Goddamn right I do. I bet on it every weekend. That's all you got to say.
Rear naked at choke.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So what are you doing, folks? Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/MMA hoodie to submit your entry today, and make sure to subscribe to the MMA Gambling Podcast on YouTube. And remember, as always, to let it ride. All right, we are back. Let's pick some winners. All right, this week's awesome. All right, absolutely awesome. Let's get to it. Give me some music. Where's my theme music? What does Dion say?
I think that's it.
Where's my theme music?
That's your theme music.
It is a heater.
All right. Started Saturday. Remember, me and NC Nick already previewed all the weekday games. Go listen to them.
Do you think the guy who sang that song got asked?
100. If he's affiliated, if you watch Hard Ticket to Hawaii, there's not a chance that he didn't.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is
What
true.
kind of question is that, Patty?
Yeah.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
I mean,
all of the 80s were
just like-
softcore porno.
Yeah, that was great. It was like they mixed that genre needs to come back, but we've lost our mind in
The
society.
action slash
Just like
softcore.
beautiful big titty chicks shooting bazookas and it's not a porno. It's like
with ninjas.
Yeah, it's perfect. It just needs to
Did
happen.
he get asked? Maybe not Bosworth amount.
Yeah,
That's
well,
still
that's
pretty high.
impossible. Yeah,
It's true.
definitely not Bosworth. But you could argue that Hard Ticket to Hawaii might have been inspired by Bosworth. Guys, so go listen to the weekday games. We did it. Me and NC Nick did a pod where we talk about every weekday game, including the FCS weekday games. Go check that out. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Kansas State at Texas, and holy shit, have you guys seen the Big 12 this week? The Big 12. It's the Big 12. I mean, we have like 5 teams tied for first place. You got 2 teams, 1 game back, and all of them play each other. I feel like over the next, 48 hours here or whatever, 72 hours, whatever. What day is it today? I've been moving shit. Yeah. Look, this series dates back to 1913. Thank you, TV execs, for fucking that up. Texas has a 3-game lead. They've won 6 straight, but get this. 5 of the 6 have been by 7 points or less. These games are always close. So when you tell me Malik Murphy, no Quinn Ewers, Austin, Texas, you got Avery Johnson. See, what you got to do is you got to make shots. All right. Give me K-State all day. Getting 4. This is going to be, hey, I just told you the stat. So Texas, highly likely that they'll win by 3 or 4 if they do win. You're getting 4. I thought BYU did get tore up as far as like Keaton Slovis. Terrible in that game, but a lot of them were like deflection interceptions, right? Kansas State is in fuck you mode. What did they win? 41-0 and then 41-3 the past 2 weeks?
Yeah.
No. They've had this one circled since last year. Give me the 4 points in the Wildcats on the road. Let's go. Here's why I like it. Kansas State's weakness. Now, I guess you could kind of play this for both teams, but Kansas State's weakness to me is the secondary. That was the biggest question mark coming into the year. Texas, watching last week, I don't think Malik Murphy's ready to be a really big. They're handicapped. They have a great run game. Kansas State's got a great run defense, top 25 run defense. So I love that angle. Now, on the other side of it, it would be nice if Kansas State could exploit the weakness of Texas, which is their secondary. I don't think they will. I don't think they can. So I think it's kind of going to be a slugfest. But I think the fact that Avery Johnson and Will Howard, the change of pace there, I think that gives all the edge. And I do expect Malik Murphy to make more mistakes than them. So give me K-State +4 in Austin. Patty C, what are you doing here?
You know, you make an interesting point, and Jonathan Brooks is sitting there at number 9 in the nation, number 6 in the nation in total rushing yards with 923. But K-State, the number 24 rushing defense in the country.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a quarterback I think that was Texas's strength before, was the balance of their offense.
Yeah.
Getting Xavier Worthy the ball.
All of them. They have like five wideouts.
Plenty of playmakers and being able to threaten downfield, opening things up for Jonathan Brooks. Now, obviously, he can still do it on his own a bit, but if you can key in and you have a good rushing game to stop him.
And I watched that. I talked about this on the reaction show last week. He threw a few balls that were very dangerous. I don't know if he can get away with that against Kansas State's defense. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, Patty, see your point about Jonathan Brooks. I mean, yeah, he is very good, and he's one of the best running backs in the nation. But the last 2 games, he hasn't gone over 100 against Houston and BYU. So teams are figuring out the Texas run game a little bit, and Kansas State has a much better defense than BYU and Houston. Let's not forget K-State is the reigning Big 12 champs. The way this coverage is, you would think that would be Texas, but obviously we know that not to be true. I'm all over Kansas State for everything Colby just said. Let's lock it up. Let's start the show with a lock. Let's go Kansas State.
I don't know about a lock. You're
locking come it on.
If you're going to money line,
you're just locking it.
It's hard to ignore the history when you're locking.
Well, the 4 points is pretty much a lock. Yeah, I mean, you feel like
the last 3 games in Austin have been a 5, a 3, and a 6-point game. So Kansas State has been right there.
And that's with their starting quarterbacks.
Exactly.
I mean, the last 2 weeks as well, obviously Texas beating Houston by 7 and Kansas State beating Houston by 41 the following week. Makes you think maybe Kansas State is playing better ball right now.
Noah in the chat says the last time Texas played a top 35 rush defense was Alabama. Brooks only had 57 yards.
Yeah, and I feel like Texas was able to throw the ball around in that game.
All right, let's bet it. Let's bet it. Let's go. I love Kansas State. You know that one of my teams here. But I feel like we should also maybe we parlay it with this.
You also hate Texas, so that's another easy way to
love rooting against Texas.
Bend your arm.
Pulling at his emotions here.
Yeah,
that's right.
Tragic magic situation here. I think Wisconsin is not very good. Indiana almost beat Penn State a week ago. And then you just had the terrible news that coaching icon Bobby Knight passed away earlier today. Wisconsin's going into Bloomington, Indiana as a 9-point favorite. Wisconsin shouldn't be a 9-point favorite against anybody in America. All right. So if you've come this far, maybe you're willing to come a little further, NC Nick. Give me the Hoosiers +9. Lock it up. Lock it up. Let's go.
Tell you what, the Hoosiers have played a lot better ball than I would have expected this year.
Not against Akron though.
Not against Akron, but competitive in a lot of games. Well, they still beat them, but 4 overtimes. Pretty pathetic. But Penn State, they play close. In Louisville, they play close. Ohio State, they even play pretty respectably.
It's a series that dates back to 1907. Wisconsin only has a 22-game lead. I thought it would be more.
Yeah, you would think.
NC Nick, what are you doing here in Bloomington? You joining me, or are you going to be a coward?
Oh, well, I agree that I'm on the points, but I'm not going to lock up Indiana. This is Indiana football we're talking about here. Yes, they looked good last week against Penn State, but the rest of the year, I would argue that they haven't looked very good, Patty C. I mean, they're getting blown out at home by Rutgers. The Akron game, Akron's down 10 now to a 1-7 Kent State, I think. So I think you're a little crazy to get on the Hoosiers here. So
it's tragic magic situation,
dude. Rest in peace to Bobby Knight, a true coaching legend. Also, a great mentor for Coach K, who is absolutely the best coach in any sport.
Crowbar that in there.
But I don't think anybody on this team really knows who Bobby Knight is. So I think it's a little stretch to say tragic magic. I'm taking the points. I don't plan on betting this one.
I think the tragic magic may come in the basketball season that's about to start.
No, the fans are going to know
Monday.
that the fans are going to be. It's going to be lit because of it. Probably do a ceremony or some shit.
A lot of chairs being thrown.
Oh, they should throw your chair.
Throw your
Everyone,
chair.
throw your chair. Every bar in Bloomington should be throwing fucking chairs. All right.
I'm actually going the opposite way. I've been on the fade Wisconsin train for pretty much the whole season, and it hasn't worked out great every time. And in fact, they even played Ohio State pretty respectably.
Yeah.
So
and Noah, let's play that clip. No, let's play it. YouTube.com/the college experience. It's always good to see a chair thrown. You know what I mean? So Noah, can we play that? We good?
Against the bench and against Bob Knight.
He's not even yelling right now.
Steve Reed, an excellent free
Oh, he goes from 0 to 100 in a millisecond.
How many games would he be suspended if that happened?
Yeah.
They'd be sued by the fan it hit.
Yeah.
Oh, my shin got bruised.
Yeah. There's better days. But yeah, I mean, look, give me the points. Give me the points in the Hoosiers. All right, let's move along to one of these new rivalries, NC Nick. 2014, the first year that they met. Ohio State heading into Piscataway. Dangerous place to play for the Buckeyes, who are 9-0 all time since this beautiful rivalry started. Their wins are by 39, 42, 58, 56, 49, 35, 22, 39, 39. They have Rutgers has yet to keep it within 3 touchdowns. Is this the moment? Because Vegas, the line is 18.5.
The disrespect toward the Buckeyes.
I feel like we should lock up Ohio State
Yes.
here because they're not going to be able to move the ball in that defense.
No. And Ohio State, look, you would think
we're just locking every game to start.
They finally are getting off Ohio State for the most part.
I mean, they didn't. Their offense looked like shit.
Last week.
They did struggle last week. Okay. But prior to that, they had been getting off a little better.
20-12 against Penn State. That was not an offense.
No, the offense looks like shit. Let's be
That's
honest.
why it's
Against
hard
the
to lay a
best
big
defense
number.
in the country. I mean, I guess they still didn't look
No, but
good.
even against Indiana, they only scored what, 23.
That was like the first game.
I'm just saying the offense has not been very good this year.
17-14 against Notre Dame.
Okay, 63-10 against Western Kentucky.
But come on,
37 points against Maryland. 41 against Purdue. Again, some games they look good. Other games maybe they're not.
I still think they're 18.5 points better than Rutgers. I think Rutgers. Dude, Wimsat's going to throw a pick. What's the over under on the pick 6 in this game?
Is Wimsat worse than Wisconsin's backup last week? I mean, I don't see this game this week being all that different than last week's game at Wisconsin, where they won by 14 on the road.
No.
And this is a second of a back-to-back road
Wisconsin's offense is better than Rutgers' offense, dude.
True, but I don't know. I got Ohio State winning 31-13, and the hook is what
right on
covers
it.
the Rutgers.
Get the fuck out of here. 3 locks in a row for Dundee. Let's have a lock party. All right. Lock this thing up.
All right. Well, let's talk about their defenses.
38-7 final.
Wisconsin has the number 44 defense in the country and held Ohio State to 24 points. Rutgers has the number 9 defense.
No, I know. Rutgers' defense is very good.
And that's really what we're talking about in terms of the cover. Because we can count on Rutgers getting 3 to 7 points. That's probably going to happen, right?
But Rutgers played nobody in the non-con. It was like Temple, Virginia Tech with not with drones, with the other quarterback, Grant Wells.
So do you think Rutgers' defense is counterfeit?
No, I think it's good. I think the stats are a little off. But here's the thing. Ohio State is going to eventually break it. And Wimsat is going to throw at least 1 pick 6, maybe 2.
That's true. The point spread doesn't account for offense or defensive touchdowns. Or I guess the stats.
Lock it up. 38-7, 38-14. You're still cash. How many points is Rutgers going to score on this defense?
10 at most.
Yeah,
I would think.
So the question is can Ohio State score more than 4 touchdowns? I think they can. I think
18,
they can.
Yes, they will.
You locking it with
covers. Me? I'm not locking this.
Cowards.
I should.
Yeah.
I should. Fuck it.
There we go.
Lock party.
Well, no, Nick's not on our side.
I'm on Rutgers.
Yeah.
2-man lock party.
We're locking this thing up. Let's go.
There you go.
That rich Big 12 or Big 10 rivalry.
That's right. Going back years with so many close battles. What is it? Maserati Marv.
Yeah, Maserati
over on
Marv.
yards, as Ryan Hasty points out. That's a safe
find
bet.
that. No. If you're betting props, you got to find the Wimsat interceptions. If you can find a book that does the pick 6, like I feel like this is almost like this is almost like 100% sure thing.
That would
be
that would be a deep bet. I don't know if you're gonna be able to find does Wimsat throw a pick 6? maybe.
Search. Ask your book. If you're meeting up with a guy named Marv in the fucking alley, all right, then you need to ask. All right, next up, we got first ever matchup. The Campbell Camels. Remember, they didn't have football for a long time. They quit back in the 50s. They brought it back like every good institution should do that ever ditched football. They're heading into Chapel Hill. Shout out to North Carolina on the SEC tip, saying, you know what, we're going to play our FCS in November. Now, they need to realize that the SEC does it the week prior to the most important game of the season. Mac, you can call 1-800-PICK-DUNDEE. All right. No Epstein talk, please. But I will explain to you when you play the FCS. But still, November is kind of bullshit. But anyway, Mike Minter and the Camels with Haj Malik Williams at the quarterback spot. This is their first ever matchup. They're catching 40 in Chapel Hill. I will take the 40 because, come on, they're going to bring in the backup. So give me the 40. And Patty C, what are you doing here? First ever matchup.
I mean, I'm trying to look at Campbell and get caught up here.
They're solid in the CAA. They're solid. And I feel like
I'd feel better if UNC wasn't coming off 2 losses, but I'll ride with you. I'll go Campbell. You know, last time I recall UNC playing a FCS team was FAMU.
Yeah,
and that was closer than expected a couple of years ago. Was it last year, 2 years ago? They would have
last
covered
year.
Okay,
and
they would have covered the 40.
And if you remember, FAMU had like 40 players that couldn't play.
Yeah, that's right. So give me the Camels.
Yeah, let's ride the camel. But Florida State's riding. Look, Florida State's got all that Saudi money. Let's go. It's working out for them.
Well, one thing too is that North Carolina hasn't put up more than 42 points all year. So if granted they played harder competition, but
that'll probably change come Saturday.
What's the line in UVA Campbell?
That's a good question.
Does Mike Minter have any eligibility left? Can he get back there and play safety?
As a Colorado fan, he was a pain in the ass to deal with when he was at Nebraska. All right, so I could, maybe throw Mike Minter back there.
40 is 40 and a half.
40. I'm seeing a flat 40.
Flat.
Doesn't matter, Patty C.
It might.
Pick a side.
Look, North Carolina. I feel like these are usually the games that they enjoy their offense exploding. They always have this explosive offense. This is when you look at North Carolina and you go, oh my gosh, maybe they're legit. And then they play a team that is going to bite them and they get bitten. So I'm going to take North Carolina to cover.
Lay the 40. Lay the 40. All right. Nebraska, Matt Rule. Oh man. Low key, great story. And I'm glad to see someone else picked up on this. I saw several news articles saying Nebraska could win the Big Ten West. Cause they've been red hot lately. NC Nick, Patty C, they laughed at me for saying this a couple weeks ago. But look. Oh, how it works out. They did. You know what it is NC Nick doesn't. He hates the Big Ten West, so he doesn't know.
Red hot beating trash, because the Big Ten West is all trash,
and that's why that was my point.
It's true.
That was my point.
Okay, yeah. I mean, to your credit, you might be right. And they continue playing trash because Michigan State is on auto fade. Tell me why I shouldn't lock this game.
Yeah, look, I mean, the series dates back to 1914. Nebraska has a 6-game lead. Michigan State did win the last matchup. It's revenge for these Cornhuskers. They're laying 3.
If you look at Nebraska's schedule here, too. I mean, next they have Maryland at home, trash. At Wisconsin,
trash.
And then home to Iowa. The offense is trash.
Great team. Can
they go 3-1?
Dude,
in their last 4 games?
They have a solid chance of playing. They have a solid chance of playing for the Big Ten championship.
That's Nebraska.
Crazy. Yeah,
maybe. I mean,
in year 1 of the Rule era, drink some of that Rule-Aid.
I just didn't foresee Iowa losing to Minnesota, so that definitely puts.
Can we talk about
Nebraska back in the equation?
Can we talk about what's their quarterback's name? Nick? What's their quarterback's name? Yeah,
Heinrich Harburg.
Can we talk about a stat line last week? You ready for this? This is old school. Matt Rule has brought back the Schlesinger era, right? 6
it's music to Nebraska fans.
6 of 11, Patty C last week, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. They only completed 6 passes. This is beautiful.
2 touchdowns though.
Yeah, efficient. 2 touchdowns, and that's like a Tommy Frazier stat line, a Brooks Behringer stat line, a fucking whoever Scott Frost stat line. Then, I mean, you look the week before, guys. Heinrich Harburg, 6 of 11 for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns. Right?
Maybe I shouldn't lock this game. I mean, does this line stink some?
I'm sorry. No. I got it wrong. He was 8 of 17, 85 yards and a touchdown, and 2 picks.
Shouldn't this be -7?
At least.
I'm going
Michigan
Nebraska, but
State.
I'm not going to lock it up.
I'm not locking it.
No,
I'm
this
not
game
locking
kinda
it.
stinks.
Yeah, I will lay the 3 with the Cornhuskers.
Michigan State has lost 6 in a row.
They suck.
Their closest losses were by 10 and 3 points to Iowa and Rutgers, respectively, who can't produce any offense. So of course those are going to be close.
State is on auto fade for sure.
Yeah.
So then locking.
No,
Nebraska.
I'm not going to do it.
No.
There's
Don't
something
lock it. Don't lock it. You cannot lock this game.
Dive into it. Dive into the snake.
You locking it?
I won't lock it. I'll take your guys' word
okay.
for it. I might regret it.
There's some talk about Heinrich being a Nazi. You can't ride with the Nazis in the chat.
Well, I
Just
mean,
wait-
now he's going to be at home at Michigan State, is who puts up Hitler on the scoreboard.
That's right. Heinrich is just going to go off. They got Hitler
This is
just throwing
great.
it up.
I mean, that's
He's just
that's a
jacked up.
solid-
You've seen
solid
those
point.
old
Solid
Nazi
point.
rallies, you know?
Yeah.
Those
Those old ones in those old Nazi rallies in East Lansing.
that's right.
I've seen a few of those.
I've seen some of those in Charlottesville, but not East Lansing. Come on.
Oh fuck, it's good times here. All right, next up, Arkansas heads to the Swamp. Series dates back to 1982. Arkansas is 2-10 all time. They've actually never won in the Swamp since entering ever. But I mean, they entered the SEC in what, 91 was it? They're 2-10 all time. Both those wins coming one in Houston, Texas, one in Fayetteville. The Gators are laying 6. Give me the 6 and Pittman.
Arkansas coming off the bye, but they've lost 6 in a row.
They fired Dan Enos.
They're
So
only
get the
2 wins on the year. Sorry, Weehawk, but Western Carolina and Kent State. That's the only 2 teams they've beaten. Like
Western Carolina's their best win.
That's right. So what do they do during this bye week? Are they just throwing in the towel, or do they really come out and give it one last shot?
This is a really hard game to cap because I don't think Florida's that good. I think
Meanwhile,
Florida's
Florida, if they want to go bowling, they need this game because the rest of their schedule at LSU, at
All right.
Missouri, home to Florida
All
State.
right. I think you swayed me. Lay the 6 with Florida.
I'm going.
It seems
Gators.
chalky. It seems too obvious, though, right?
There we go. We got Florida with the number 32 pass offense in the country against Arkansas with the number 32 pass defense in the country. 2 evenly matched teams. 2 teams that are probably pretty disappointed in this season. I would say Arkansas. Who's more disappointed in this season?
Arkansas can still go bowling too, NC Nick, because their remaining schedule. If they win this, they're home to Auburn, which I would kind of 50-50 game. Home to the airport and Mike McIntyre, and then home to Mizzou. Mizzou, okay, you're 7-1, but you barely beat Middle Tennessee. I can't. Arkansas could still easily win out and end up in the.
This is a swamp, though.
Bowl. Yeah.
Florida is 4-0 at home with a 13-point
right.
win. 13-point win over Tennessee under their belt at home. I'm gonna go.
You're right. I'll take the Gators too. It's just the line. The line smells a little bit to me. I'd see this more as like a 10-point spread, right?
Another little.
Florida's not good enough to lay 10.
At home, they beat the shit out of Tennessee.
I don't know. Give me the Gators.
I'm taking the Gators in the Swamp again. Another nugget here. Graham Mertz, 3rd in the nation in pass completion percentage, and Arkansas,
No.
78th in the nation in pass completion percentage defense.
I'm
Graham
sorry.
Mertz is going to go 19 of 23.
I was about to say one of those Mertz games he was completing 4 yards a pass.
Doesn't
It was
matter. 19 of 23.
His checkdown's
It might
unbelievable.
be
Captain
for
check
150 yards.
Yeah. UConn's heading into to Knoxville. First ever matchup. You believe that, Patty C?
Utah going
Yeah.
into
No, UConn.
UConn.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah,
that.
makes sense.
I actually don't believe that because you would have figured the SEC would have put UConn on the schedule as often
here's
as
the
possible.
problem.
UConn was
is-
too good.
Here's the problem.
That's right.
Tennessee and Austin P played week 2, and then the athletic director was dumbfounded. He's like, wait, what are we gonna do? We got to play an FCS in November. It's like, wait a second.
We already blew that
Yeah,
one.
what are we gonna do? There's this team called UConn.
UMass was busy.
Yeah, UMass had the in-state battle, a rivalry game themselves. So they get UConn on the schedule here. UConn's catching 35.5. Give me the points, Jim Mora, friend of the program. Nick,
I agree. I mean, Tennessee coming off the big win at Kentucky. I think it's kind of hard to get up for this one. They're kind of sleepwalking through the first half. Give me the points.
I guess you call it a big win against Kentucky, but it was an important one. Kentucky, a better football team. Meanwhile, UConn 1-7, but a lot of close losses.
A lot of close losses.
Playing better of late.
We got a 10-point loss, a 7-point loss, a 1-point loss, a 3-point loss, and another 7-point loss.
Covered against BC.
Too many points. Give me UConn.
All right, we got another first ever matchup.
35.5. You're getting that hook.
Yeah. Here's another one that's hilarious. South Carolina schedules Jacksonville State. They've never ever played. I think they're anticipating Jacksonville State to be an FCS, and they jumped up to the FBS. Like, whoa!
And they're 7-2 right now. This is a fun game because I think it's going to be kind of close.
Oh, it's a battle of the game. Who's really the Gamecocks?
Who's got the bigger cock?
Yeah,
Hello.
who's got the bigger cock?
Well,
Rich Rod or Beamer?
Rich Rod and Beamer used to go at it back in West Virginia and
Hey,
Texas.
see, you've had this dream before. Who's got the bigger cock? Rich
yeah.
Rod or Beamer?
I'm dreaming about both of those cocks on the nightly. Look, we're talking about the Gamecocks, you freaks.
Give me the points all day in Jacksonville State. 16.5.
Easily. Money line definitely in play.
That's plus 600 or some shit like that. Plus 550 I'm seeing right now.
Look,
NC Nick, what are you doing here?
In 21, South Carolina just squeaked by both ECU and Troy. In 2019, they lost to App. In 2017, it was a 1-point win over La Tech. Do I need to go on?
I remember South Carolina losing to Mike Houston in the Citadel.
There you go. So
Yeah.
I mean, South Carolina is known to play close games against this caliber of team. So I'm on Jacksonville State all day.
Do you feel like
It's gonna be a cock out.
kind of? Well, my eyes will be glued to that screen. Look, my question is this: 4-game losing streak for Shane Beamer. Is his seat really hot? They're coming home after a 2-game road stretch to Missouri and A&M. Maybe they get right here against Jacksonville State. I don't think so, though. Give me Rich Rod.
I don't know. The soundboard's too big. Okay, let's move along.
Real quick, though. The only tough teams on Jacksonville State's schedule have been Coastal Carolina, who's not even that tough. They lost by 2 touchdowns. And Liberty, and they lost by 18. Is Jacksonville State fool's gold?
Probably.
Okay. Still 16.5 too many.
Too much.
Yeah.
Who's going to have all the motivation? Jacksonville State will.
True.
All right. And I believe Zion Webb, their starting quarterback, I believe, if memory serves me correct, either from South Carolina, because he was at Clemson. He's there. Yeah, I could be talking out of my
I'll
ass.
look that up for you here.
Might be Georgia. Why do I feel like he's from Georgia?
I don't know.
But yeah, look that up. That'd be a
Georgia.
good.
Georgia people have cool
Webb
names.
From Alabama, Phoenix City, Alabama.
Well, you know what?
It's right around the corner from Greenbow.
Who was that guy from Spartanburg, South Carolina? Maybe he'll be in attendance. Maybe he's a Gamecock fan.
Tyler, something like that.
Tyler from Spartanburg, legend. Tyler. Hit us up. You can come on the show. Texas A&M heads to Oxford, Mississippi. Now I'm intrigued by this matchup. By the way, the 9 a.m. slate.
Fire.
Kansas State, Texas. Right? Then you get UConn, Tennessee.
This is a low-key massive
No, this week's
game.
awesome. And you guys know I went to this game last year in College Station, A&M and Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin and Jimbo, they don't like each other. This is why this game's awesome. We like that. All right. So if you could meet him at the 50-yard line and spit in his face, we'd appreciate it. Lane Kiffin. So Ole Miss is a 3-point favorite. Ole Miss, by the way, went top 10 in the invitational rankings. Kind of fool's gold a little bit, but I don't care. I think A&M is not that good. A&M can't score. And I know this game matters to Lane Kiffin. I know they have Georgia on deck, but I don't think it's a look ahead spot. I'm laying the 3 with Ole Miss in Oxford. Fucking parties are going to be great. All right. What do they call it? The Grove. The Grove will be rocking. Patty C, what are you doing here in Oxford?
Number 12 offense for Ole Miss against the number 7 defense for Texas A&M. 3-point favorite Ole Miss. I feel like they got a little mojo this year. I'm gonna roll Ole Miss.
Yeah, I think. Well, A&M's pass defense sucks. Ole Miss got some decent wideouts that I think can exploit that, and then they have one of the best running backs in the nation. So I think that's all the difference. And Lane Kiffin knows that DJ Durkin used to be his DC. So I think he knows how to beat him. NC Nick, what are you doing here? What's up?
The other thing is, this is essentially if LSU beats Bama, then Ole Miss is in the driver's seat.
They play at Georgia next
They play
week.
at Georgia, but Georgia is. We haven't seen who Georgia is.
If
We're
it
going
was
to find out who
Georgia
Georgia is.
What do you mean
this week? Well, we haven't seen them play anyone good. Who's their best win? Kentucky,
Florida.
They suck.
I mean, Ole Miss and Florida. I agree, but Ole Miss and Florida, they're kind of the same to me.
Sure, but Ole Miss.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, what did Georgia?
I agree.
If Ole
You're
Miss
right. I'm wrong.
beats and is in the driver's seat of the SEC West, they're going to bring their A game for Georgia.
Yeah,
and Georgia coming off Missouri might be a little beat up.
Sounds like this might be a kind of a look ahead game for Ole Miss if they got Georgia on the slate next.
See, it's supposed to be, but he hates Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Ole Miss is a little bit due for a clunker. You know, I mean, they're 7-1. You know, great job, Kiffin, but I just feel like they're due for a disappointing game. Maybe Dart throws a couple picks. I don't know. I'm gonna go A&M in the points here.
Wrong. Okay. Next up, we're gonna jump on over to. This is another 9 a.m. kick. Notre Dame heading into Clemson, South Carolina. Notre Dame's laying 3. Mitchell Evans or Evers? Is it Evers or Evans? Evers, right? Evans. Okay, yeah. Notre Dame stud tight end, Alpha of the Year, Patty C.
Well,
I'm locking up Clemson +3.
You thought Georgia was going to fall apart after losing Brock Bowers. That hasn't happened.
They played Florida.
Okay, well, you just said that was their hardest game.
I mean, I'm not over here saying Georgia's played great competition this year. They're on the Michigan path.
Yeah.
All right. I'm locking up Clemson +3. Ride it on the money line, folks. In Memorial Stadium. Look, Florida State should have lost here. Florida State, okay. I understand Clemson's kind of going to be, they're probably going to be 6-6 this year. But Notre Dame's not going to be able to move the ball on that defense. And that is why Clemson's going to win the game. Nick, what are you doing here?
I see your point here, and I another line that kind of stinks. I think is this one. It opened up at -2.5, and now it's -3. I just can't back Clemson right now. I just think that mojo is not on their side here. I'm going to go Notre Dame, but I get why it's a decent spot for Clemson. But I'm going to just say Hartman and Notre Dame find a way to pull it out and cover.
This game goes back to 1977. Clemson has a 4-3 all-time lead. If Notre Dame wins, they'll tie up the series. Patty C, what are you doing here? And by the way, NC Nick, the A&M Ole Miss game that dates back to 1911. Ole Miss has won 2 straight. Lane gets up for this, so have fun with that bet. What are you doing here, Patty C?
I think you're wrong. I think Clemson, while they have the number 6 defense in the country, their offense sucks. You mentioned that a bunch. They have
but at home they're
a different team at home.
Florida State.
Sure, they should have beaten Florida State, but they didn't.
They can beat anyone in that stadium. They're gonna have a win that they shouldn't.
Well, Notre Dame should have beaten fucking Ohio State.
Maybe.
Okay, definitely. They fucking choked the shit out of that game.
Ohio State still might have scored with 11 players.
No, well, whole drive, that whole last 5 minutes of the game, Notre Dame was in a position where they definitely should have won. Now they did get their ass kicked by Louisville, and I think that was a legit ass kicking. You could say that was after Ohio State and Duke back to back, second end of a back to back.
Is Duke a daunting place to go into?
Duke's not a daunting place, but they did.
Duke's been very good at home this year.
Yeah,
he's going to the game on Thursday night.
I'll be there tomorrow night.
Going to the game.
That's right.
Either way, I just think they got soundly beaten by Louisville. But Notre Dame would be otherwise a playoff team if they didn't choke it against Ohio State. In fact, they'd probably be like top 6-5 right now. I'm going to take Notre Dame. Easy.
There we go.
I'll see you at
Smart pick, Patty C.
Can't wait for the reaction show. I cannot wait to the reaction show.
Thank you.
Kennesaw State having an awful season in the FCS. I don't know if they're redshirting. They're 2-5 in the FCS right now. I don't know if you guys know this, but they're going to the FBS next year. So wait, you're not going to give us North Dakota State or South Dakota State or Delaware, teams that probably deserve it. We're going to get Kennesaw State, who started their football program in the past decade. They have played once before. Kennesaw State's heading to Huntsville, Texas, take on Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State leads this all-time series. They won by 7 on December 9th, 2017 at Elliott T. Bauer Stadium. The Bear Claw Kennesaw is catching 8.5 points. I don't think so. I don't think so. Sam Houston State at the Bear Claw.
Are they gonna
I'm
get
going
it?
back to the well.
They're
I'm
gonna get their
going
W.
They're getting the dub. I almost feel like we should lock this.
It's only 8.5. You said.
Yeah.
All right, I'll ride with you. Let's do it.
Let's go. Yeah. Nobody goes into the Bear Claw in November and gets a dub. What are you doing
nice
here?
little caveat or whatever you'd call that. 8, I guess. Yeah, I'll go Sam Houston State. I think they've been a lot closer. Offense is terrible. 128.
Offense is terrible. Defense is terrible. Kicking game's terrible, but they're winning. I'll lay the 8.5.
I'd be like, how's Kennesaw doing this year?
I just told you 2 and
2 and 5.
Yeah. You listen to the podcast we're doing,
buddy? I'm over here doing this guy. I'm pulling it. You're talking nonsense.
Kenesaw's been terrible in the FCS this year. I don't know if they're redshirting. That was my intro to the whole fucking segment.
Sounds like maybe Colby was Josh P. Maybe Colby hired somebody to talk shit about
typing on the
State.
message board while the podcast is going on. Oh, fuck you! But yes, Sam Houston's due.
Yeah. All right, folks. Look, before we get to the next one, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. We're back on the college football experience. Hopefully you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. We're going to the link.
This game sucks.
This game does suck, and it does. But do you want to make any money? I'm locking up Navy minus 6.5 at the link. You know Temple's rush defense is terrible. You know what Navy does? They run the shit out of the ball. Temple's done, dude. All right, first off, Temple hasn't beaten Navy in like fucking 6 years or something. This is a series that dates back to 1988. Navy's got a 1-game lead. Consider it 2. Lay the 6.5. Patty C, what are you doing here at the link?
I'm stat checking you. Temple, the number 127 rush defense.
Lock this up.
Navy, the number 18 rush offense. Are they just going to run rough shots through them?
Lock it.
No, I'm not locking this game. I don't know shit about either of these teams. I'm not
Buddy, you watch college football for 30 fucking hours in here every Saturday. Yeah. You know Temple sucks. They lost 55-0 at home.
How often, honestly,
that was without EJ Warner.
Even on Guide's Eye, we got
want to play
fucking
this.
9 TV screens, and I'm not probably watched 5 minutes of Temple football this year.
Navy's defense is not bad. EJ Warner's a little cha-cha-cha isn't going to work. All right,
I'm going to go home dog here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Take the 6.5. Give me Temple.
Oh my God.
Is it the home environment? Is the link just going to be overwhelming for Navy?
No, Navy's got a home crowd here. Navy's got a home crowd here.
Yeah.
They're going to win this. They play the link for the Army Navy games all the time.
That's true.
Yeah. This is a Navy home game.
Navy probably in one game a season puts more butts in the stands than Temple 100%. Does the entire season in 6 or 7 games.
100%. All right, moving along. Georgia Tech is heading into Charlottesville in a game that dates back to 1965. I find this pretty amazing. UVA only has a 1-game lead. I mean, I kind of thought Georgia Tech would have the lead, but the fact that it's only a 1-game lead, hilarious. I remember the classic in 1990 where he looked like the Wahoos might be going to
they caused that season to go into a tailspin.
But Sean Moore's not walking through that door unless it's in the name of Tony Muskett. All right, UVA has shown signs of life. But Georgia Tech
coming around. Malik Washington, number 2 receiver of the nation. You said they don't have any weapons.
They don't have any weapons.
He might be the number 2 Malik in the nation, but he's also number 2 in the nation.
Wait
overall.
a second. UVA is a 2-point favorite. This game is hilarious. This is the UNC Bowl. The UNC Bowl. They both just beat the shit out of UNC.
It's kind of the Miami Bowl too, because they both recently took Miami to overtime. Georgia Tech won. UVA didn't. That's why I'm on the Yellow Jackets.
These are the same team.
I got to take the Yellow Jackets too. Give me the 2 points.
Better.
Give me the 2 points. But they lose. Like BC worked Georgia Tech, so it wouldn't surprise me if Virginia just. Georgia Tech's the hardest team to read in the country. What are you doing here, Petty C?
In the hornet's nest that is fuck Scott Stadium. Look, I'm leaning Who's, man. I actually think they have more playmakers. I think they're the better team. Georgia.
I guess you didn't watch last week's game, right? Because North Carolina's run defense was pretty good all year. Well, there was a guy that plays for Georgia Tech that he didn't play much over his 4-year career, but Dante Smith, 22 rushes, 178 yards, over 8 yards a rush. They don't have any playmakers. Also, Eric Singleton,
true freshman coming out of nowhere.
He had 9 targets, 8 receptions, 117 yards. Dog. What are you doing here? I mean, so you go with your Wahoos. I want the buzz, sting. Let's go.
It's not the only common opponent. Like Boston College beat Georgia Tech by 15, beat UVA by 3. You know, Miami, Virginia took to overtime, and what?
Georgia Tech beat them in regulation.
Georgia Tech beat them by 3 in regulation. Okay, they're the same team. What this?
2. UVA is 2.
Whatever. I don't know. Fucking UVA. I'm a homer. I'm a homer.
Arizona State is heading to Salt Lake City. Arizona State starting to play good ball the past 2 weeks. Is it fair to say?
I think tide turning. As I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of it's easy to see a tide turn. Did I say those words?
Is the tide turning in Tempe? Because they head into Salt Lake City. They're catching 11. This is a series that dates back to 1961. Arizona State does have an 11-game lead. I'll take the points in Salt Lake City. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, that kick is going to be 44 degrees and rainy. Utah coming off a loss at home. Yeah. I'm going to jump on the back on the Utes.
An embarrassing ass loss too. I'm all over the Utes.
Woo-hoo, you locking it?
Not that all over it.
Look, I mean, I get it. Like, it's tough to lay double digits with the Utah offense right now. I get it. Yeah. But I just think this is a game where they have like a defensive touchdown, like a special teams touchdown, and they somehow cover it.
Rule of thumb: you don't lay 11 with a pig farmer quarterback.
I like that. We should put that on a t-shirt. All right, folks, this concludes side A. If you're watching on YouTube, hang tight, but go listen to side B if you're on the audio side. So, all right, we are the college football experience. Hang on. And we're back on the college football experience. Week 10 preview and picks. This is the B side where things get loose. Woo! And we're starting. Oh boy. There's a team that just happens to beat the piss out of every team in college football right now. And they're the Air Force Falcons. Air Force hosting in a way. It's in Denver. Mile High or whatever they're calling that bullshit stadium now. The new one. It's like there's some corporate name. Typical
Empower Field.
Yeah. The Army Black Knights are coming into town, catching 18.5. Stop it. Stop it.
Every week Colby goes against Air Force.
It's too many points. It's just too many. This was what was the score last year? It was like a 3-point game, wasn't it?
13-7.
Yes.
It is way too many.
The over under at 31.5. Highly recommend the under. But look, what I do appreciate about this game is Jeff Monken. He got cute. They changed the rules and he was a coward. He said, "Hey, I'm going to change it over to, I'm going to go get rid of the triple option." Big mistake. All right. Troy Calhoun showing you, because Air Force is going to win this game. All right. I mean, I actually don't think it's that crazy to ride Army plus 800 because that's fucking incredible for normally a 1-possession game. If anything, get this. I mean, I know the game goes back to the 50s and Air Force does have a 20-game lead, but Army's won 2 of the last 3. So give me the points all fucking day. Lock it up. And I also think you bet the under. I think this is honestly, if you watch the Air Force Navy game, it should have been 7-0. Air Force should have won. Now, the running backs of Navy who just dropped 2 passes that got picked off. So 17-6 was the final. Dude, there's no way this isn't hitting, right? There's no way. I know Army's terrible trying to go cha-cha-cha, They deserve it all.
Offensively, maybe they're terrible, but defensively, Army was 119th in the nation in rushing last year. This year, they're 119th again in rushing defense. Yeah. So it's not like, even though Air Force was number 1 in the nation last year and is number 1 in the nation in rushing offense this year, they obviously weren't able to get off completely. Only put up 13 points on Army.
Bet this game right now, because this is. How many teams has Air Force beaten by 8.5, 18.5? Like, okay, they beat Sam Houston by 10. They beat Utah State by 18. They beat San Jose State by 25. Now that was a late, like San Jose State was winning at halftime. They did beat the piss out of San Diego State. 7-point win against Wyoming. 11-point win against Navy. 17-point win against Colorado State. No, this is covering. This is hitting. This is Army season.
You guys are both on Army.
Yes.
I'm on Air Force. I've been keeping track of this every week. Air Force has now won 13 in a row, 11 by double digits. And you know what? Army has the most giveaways per game in the nation. They average 2.5 turnovers per game. That's how you don't cover games. Air Force is going to steamroll Army. They are a cash wagon. And one of these weeks you might learn, Dundee.
Hey. I understand that logic. Monken has to be smart enough to realize this is the first time he's playing a service academy this year. Don't throw the ball. Don't throw the ball at all. All right. And you're going to cash. You might even win the game, Monken. Remember when you were winning? Remember when you're going 9-4 and 10-2 and all that shit? You know, I don't know why you said, let me change this offensive system. Have fun with that, by the way.
That's a great stat, Nick, by the way. Army was number 1 running the triple option, obviously still last year, 107th in the nation with 1.1 turnovers per game. Ooh. Last year, this year, they start getting cha. Number 1 in the nation in turnovers per game with 2.4.
Said this before, like 60 teams in the country should be running the triple option. Out of the 133, like 60 of them should.
Yeah.
Because that gives you the best chance to win, but they're all pussies.
I think that takes away the zig while everyone else is zagging angle a little bit.
No, because I still think you're going to be better than your actual record just because it gives you the best chance to win the game. Right. So, and look, I did say all the same things when and Air Force, that should not have hit, dude. Brian Newberry, if he kicks the extra point, you win. He randomly goes for 2, but also 2 plays right off the fullback's hands. That was a 7-0 game. I'll fight anybody on that one. That was a fucking 7-0 game. No, Air Force never had the backup QB. They gave us false information. Classic Calhoun move, by the way. I've learned the hard way on that.
Deceptive tactics, military tactics.
Florida Atlantic with those sweet ass helmets, fucking palm tree, playing into that identity.
Power play.
The old folks home in Boca Raton. Well, they're hitting the road.
They should have like a Domino's piece on the other side of the helmet.
Yes.
I don't know, what do old people do? Play canasta? They're a little canasta, a little deck of cards. I don't know.
That would be cool. I like that. Look, they're hitting the road to Birmingham, Alabama, Penetrope Stadium. And this is a series that dates back to 2008. Florida Atlantic, surprisingly, Patty C, has a 3-game lead on UAB. UAB, a couple years ago, they talked about getting the Komodo dragon as a mascot, a real Komodo dragon, but they were cowards. And that's why they're not winning these games. They're getting blown out left and right. Florida Atlantic's only laying 1, which is a bit scary, but FAU's the better team. I'll lay the 1 against Trent Dilfer. Come steal his players. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
At Penetrope?
I agree with you here. I think Florida Atlantic is more talented, especially offensively. I think they can handle this road trip to Birmingham and beat the Blazers.
Patty C?
Yeah, I haven't been super impressed with UAB. The Trent Dilfer experience has gone awry a tad. So we're going to go with Mikey Mack and getting it done.
I mean, do you like that
or
game?
Not Mikey Mack, sorry. Fucking
Tommy
Herman. Herman. 1 point, that's easy.
So we got the Dakota Marker game. I'm speaking of zigging and zagging. One of the best rivalries in all of college football is North Dakota State, South Dakota State. They played for the FCS National Championship last year. So I am crowbarring this in. Subscribe to the FCS College Football Experience, which I host. We'll go live with our preview and picks for every game tomorrow night. South Dakota State beat North Dakota State in the national championship last year. They're laying 11 points. 11.
Was that their first national championship?
Yes.
So that is like an easy to see a
they
tie
won
turn
45 to 21.
If there ever was one. It seems like South Dakota State is now the new North Dakota State.
It seems like that too. And this is a series that dates back to 1903, and they've played each other every fucking year too. North Dakota State has a 17 game lead.
Probably.
Brookings, it is at Brookings, South Dakota. I think you got to lay the points. I think North Dakota State, they don't look like the same team.
I'm taking the points. Come on. This is a rivalry game here. Take the points.
Give me that number again.
11.
Got a big 4th and 7 in this Bowling Green.
Although North Dakota State has shat the bed several times this year.
I'm laying it. North Dakota State doesn't look like the same.
In Brookings? Nah, I'm going North Dakota State.
Going with the Bison.
Ball State.
Folks, make sure you check out that game. Support great college football. Okay, moving along. UTSA. Speaking of meeting in the championship, UTSA is heading into Denton, Texas. Take on North Texas. They played for the Conference USA Championship last year, and then they, after UTSA won, North Texas decided to fire Seth Luttrell. Guess you don't want to play in championship games. This series dates back to 2013. UTSA has a 6-5 all-time lead.
Nice.
The Roadrunners are laying 7.5 in Denton.
First meeting in the American now.
Give me the points in North Texas. Let's see, Nick, what are you doing here?
I guess you give North Texas credit for coming back against Memphis down, 31-10. They came back, took the lead with 47 seconds, and then they give up a touchdown and they lose. That is demoralizing. And UTSA with Captain Harris, let's not forget how good of a team they are. I'm going to lay the 7.5.
Aren't they baiting you though?
No, it'd be 6.5 if they're baiting you.
No, I'm saying I'm taking North Texas. Aren't they baiting you by taking? But North Texas did it against Tulane the week before too. No, I'm taking the points. How do you see? What are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean the Tulane road spot. I don't know how crazy Denton gets, but I feel like North Texas is a play here. Although, like you said, UTSA have been playing damn good ball from a minute.
When Harris is healthy,
they're
a pretty damn good team.
That put up 36 in at least all 4 of those games. I don't know. I'm staying away from this. I'll say that much.
Right now, Ball State Bowling Green in a barn burner right now as we're under a minute. Ball State trailing by 3 at the BG 46-yard line.
If anybody's like me and has Ball State and 5.5 points, you don't want them to tie it up and go to OT.
Yeah, I do too. Have Ball State with the points, but I also played that on the money line. So
maybe you do.
Yeah. Okay. And wow, we're under 30 seconds. This is tough doing a show while there's great action on.
High drama.
Louisiana is heading to Jonesboro, Arkansas. The Raging Cajuns are laying 9.5 points. And man, this series dates back to 1953. And here's what I find funny about when you dig into college football's history. On certain pages, they if you go to Arkansas State's team website, they started playing this game in 1970. They don't want to allude to the fact that they lost some in the 1950s. Well, that's why you got to dig deep. All right.
Wait, they just lie.
It happens all the time. No, they say they'll put the dates of when the rivalry is.
Series started.
Yeah. Anyway, Louisiana's got a 9-game lead. They've won 5 straight against your boy Butch Jones, Patty C.
Gotta hand it to Butch Jones though.
Not really. They're the most phony 4-4 team out there. Their wins this year are against 0-8 Stony Brook, 1-7 Southern Miss, 2-7 UMass, and 2-6 ULM. Worst 4-4 team in the nation.
Wins are wins, buddy. Look, in the old BCS formula, they'd be a contender right now.
Louisiana beat them by 20 last year. That's enough for me. I'll lay the 9.5.
Same here.
Yeah.
In Jonesboro?
In Jonesboro.
All right. I'll roll with you guys.
South Florida's heading into the Liberty Bowl, one of the best places to catch a college football game. Series dates back to 2001. Memphis has a 3-game lead. Memphis is laying 13.5 points against your boy, Patty C. Galesh.
Alex Galesh.
not so fast. Galesh, he made his name down there in Knoxville. He's going back to that land in Tennessee. Give me the 13.5. This was a 34-33 game last time they played. NC Nick, what are you doing here at the Liberty Bowl?
My initial reaction was to take Memphis because as soon as Patty C started talking Golesh up, they've kind of sucked ass. I mean, don't
They
forget
have sucked ass.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
off
gonna stick
here.
with that. Let me go Memphis.
Patty, you going with your boys?
Yeah, I'm all over Memphis. 13.5 is a lot, though. It's a lot.
A lot of points.
I guess I'll go Memphis. I don't know.
Coastal Carolina is heading to SB Ballard Stadium in Norfolk, Virginia to take on Old Dominion. This series dates back to 2012. ODU's never lost to Coastal, including last year. Jamie Chadwell, no problem. 49-21 win in Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina. ODU is catching a point at home right now. ODU is the better team. Give me ODU to win at home. NC Nick, something about specials?
No, I think I agree. I mean, even though with Big Bird McCall out last week, Jarrett Guest looked pretty good, throwing for 289 and 3 touchdowns. But I'm assuming Big Bird is still going to be out this week, and a backup and a very inexperienced backup on the road is not, what I want to get involved in. So let me take ODU with a point.
Patty,
I got to roll ODU because I was pretty damn impressed with that Wilson guy at quarterback last. Plus, they got some weapons. They have a weird offense. If you ever played Tecmo Super Bowl, they're like the Redskins offense. The one offense in the game where you're like, I don't know how the fuck.
crazy motions going on.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
They're a strange team to try and defend, and they got some weapons.
All right, let's go to Minneapolis. The series dates back to 1898.
This game blows.
Illinois at Minnesota.
What is the all-time series though? Because
Minnesota has an 8-game lead.
How many games have they
I
played?
didn't write it down, but I just wrote down they played a shit ton of games. Yeah.
Probably like 50 to like 58 or something, or maybe even more. Who knows?
Minnesota has an 8-game lead though, but the Gophers are laying 1.5. I'm laying the 1.5 at home. Minnesota's the better team, so I will lay the 1.5. NC Nick, what are you doing
This
here?
will be the 76th matchup. I mean, in this game here, I went with the home team. Who knows? It's going to be low scoring. Both teams aren't very good, I don't think. Even though Minnesota's 5-3, where Illinois is just 3-5, that's enough for me to go Golden Gophers.
Minnesota's still alive to play for the Big Ten championship here. It's a huge game.
Yeah.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
This is weird. They haven't played as much as you would think. 15-year break from 1925 to 1940. Not sure what happened there. You would think both as Big Ten
World
members.
War I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that was in 1918 or 1919.
but the results of World War I.
What happened? The Roaring 20s, the Depression. It was
Prohibition.
Prohibition.
Right. It really set the Gopher program back a little bit.
Oh boy. Look, Minnesota, I guess, has been playing a little bit better ball. I'm still having a hard time believing in Illinois at home. I'm only giving 1.5. I'll take Minnesota.
Yeah, let's go. All right. Want to tell you folks out there that the College Football Experience Week 10 preview and picks episodes brought to you by PrizePicks. With the basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball with PrizePicks Specials League. Yes, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports and different leagues. I've always wondered why this hasn't happened. You can get LeBron James and Travis Kelce at a 10.5 combo of 3-pointers made plus receptions in a game. Fantastic. They should have been doing this shit long ago. Thank you, PrizePicks. All right. And want to play alongside some of the best, the best in the business, some of your favorites like rapper Meek Mill or comedian Andrew Scholes. Well, you can find community plays under the promos tab of the app and view the entries, and some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community will be there each and every week, folks. PrizePicks even offers a reboot policy so that your entry stays in play even if one of your guys gets injured and doesn't play or opts out. It's the NBA. You have the players decide not to play. Bradley Beal, a season opener. Hey, just gonna take the night off. gonna take the night off. All right. Preseason was a little rough this year.
Hell of a debut.
Preseason, psychologically, my preseason. It's tough.
Yeah.
I didn't know what quarter I'd be playing.
Mental health.
Yeah. Mental health. Yeah. Look, PrizePicks has got you covered. It really does. It's the only daily sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So what are you doing, folks? All right. Get on over there. Go to prizepicks.com/SGPN. Use that promo code SGPN for a first deposit match up to $100. It's prizepicks.com/SGPN. Promo code SGPN. See, James Harden's the Clipper. One more bum in Los Angeles, huh?
Are they the most hateable team right now?
Yeah, I live in Venice Beach. I'm looking forward to seeing one more bum in Los Angeles.
I mean, the beard looks kind of homelessly anyway.
That's saying. Those goth pants, though, that's not going to work in the home. That's still. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen that photo of that shit he was wearing? It looked like a fucking. It looked like a character in like fucking. What's that series with the books? Oh man, I don't know.
Series with the books.
The fucking kids love the
Stranger
shit.
Things.
No. It's a movie series, a franchise.
With the werewolf and the vampire, or whatever the fuck.
I don't know, but
Twilight.
Anyway,
I don't know. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Anyway, he looks like a gothic guy. He's wearing like these crazy fucking belt bottoms. Looks like, I don't know. Looks like fucking he's in Lord of the Rings or some shit. And he you can't do that in LA. It's too hot. It's too hot.
All these NBA players are fucking idiots.
Right?
What is who's the dude Kuzma? Do you ever see he's wearing like the Need from like Dr. Seuss? It's like a sweater with like 5 arms on it, and
they're just trying to get attention.
Yeah.
But they got Westbrook.
That's why they're sitting games out, trying to get attention.
Right. Westbrook, Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George is likable, but those three, that's a triad of fucking awfulness.
You couldn't. I mean, I had someone last year give me free tickets. I said, "Yeah, you can have that.
I'm good."
Yeah, there's Maction on. Hello.
Yeah. You can have that. All right. Unless you got me sitting next to Hasselhoff or something. All right, or the Boz. All right. Speaking of which.
Don't play this right now. Bad timing. You know, because we have to be on Team Cowboys here.
The Oklahoma Sooners are heading to Stillwater, Oklahoma. Is this really? Don't do this to us. Is this really the final bedlam?
Well, Texas A&M was suspended for ultimately like 13 years.
But they ended up in the same conference, so theoretically that could happen. They weren't going to schedule that game had they not be forced.
That's true. Yeah. That probably won't happen with these. Yeah. Oklahoma State probably won't get that in.
So we're just going to piss away a fucking fantastic rivalry.
Pretty much.
Just because some fucking TV execs got together at a cocktail party in Santa Monica and said, "Hey, let's fucking destroy the whole fucking sport."
Pretty much. That's what happened.
They're lucky. They're lucky I wasn't at that cocktail party. I'll put a flamethrower. What does Al Pacino say instead of a woman? Anyway, no. Look, Oklahoma's laying 6 points in Stillwater. Final bedlam.
Right.
Dude, there's no way.
That's fucking great.
There's no way I'm taking Oklahoma.
No way in hell. No way.
Oklahoma is counterfeit as fuck. I've been saying it all year. They're counterfeit. They can't run the ball. Their defense not nearly as good as what people think. Statistically, a couple of weeks ago, they look like a top 20 defense. Now they're already back in like the 60s. They're not that good. Oklahoma State's winning the game outright. Olive Garden. I don't know what the fuck, but
Nation's leading rusher.
Yeah, Nation's leading restaurant.
All the breadsticks you can eat.
All the breadsticks you can eat. He's going to be eating some fucking breadsticks after they win on the money line. Meet me at the 50-yard line, Boz. All right, let's go.
Knock that book over.
I will knock that book over. Let's go. All right.
Very nice.
Sorry, Boz. But you know what I mean. Should we lock this, guys?
Hell yes. Let's lock it. Come on. Oklahoma State is on a roll.
Oklahoma State is on a roll, but Oklahoma just barely lost and would otherwise be undefeated. And I got news for you.
So a backup quarterback.
Jason Bean is probably better than half the quarterbacks in college football right now.
I thought he played like shit last week.
I would like the game better if Oklahoma beat Kansas. But
True.
Still, I don't
Oklahoma's been counterfeit all year. They haven't played any good teams, really.
I don't think Oklahoma's counterfeit. I think they're susceptible. Maybe they're a little counterfeit as a championship contender. However, I would have them beating Texas 7 out of 10 times.
Not me.
Maybe 6 out of 10.
I would have Texas beating 7 out of the 10.
Like an hour ago, threw out the K-State and OK State parlay, money line parlay. I like that a lot.
That's fine.
Look at this guy becoming the Big 12 guy in the final year. The final year with some of these teams.
Mr. Truck Stop Meat and Potatoes over here, Nick Dent.
This is Stillwater, Oklahoma. This place is going to burn down. I've been to the stadium. It's super close to the field. Dylan Gabriel, I dare you to try that little abrupt slide. I dare you.
5.5 is not that many points for a team that is pretty darn good. You guys are hating on.
Wait, you think Oklahoma's better than Oklahoma State? I think Oklahoma State's better than Oklahoma.
I think Oklahoma's pretty darn good. I think Oklahoma State has become really good lately.
I mean, have you noticed the rushing attack? That's the thing. Kansas only threw for like 80 yards last week. They were running through Oklahoma, and guess what Ollie Gordon's been doing? Let me just rattle off what Ollie Gordon's.
Kansas threw for 218.
Okay, but what'd they run for? That was the real thing.
Ran for 225.
That's what I'm saying. So let me just rattle off what Ollie Gordon did against what Olive Garden did against Moneyline Max West Virginia team that actually isn't a horrible defense. He ran for 282 yards.
And 4 touchdowns.
You know what he did last week against Patty C. Cincinnati's defense, not bad, right?
I gotta check where I think they've slid pretty considerably.
But you've said the Cincinnati, that's the better part of their defense or their team, right?
I don't even know that.
Because Olive Garden ran for 271 yards. He almost has back-to-back 300 yards week. Dude, get the fuck out of here. Oklahoma State's winning this.
I hope you're right. Look, I'm all for.
No,
Oklahoma
they're the better
State.
Football team this year. This isn't 5 years ago when you're just hoping. They are a better football team.
Dude, you are just completely ignoring some head-to-head matchups. Oklahoma State lost by 7 to Iowa State. Fucking Oklahoma beat them by 30. Okay.
That was in Ames. One had to go to Ames. One was in Norman.
Okay, but still,
that matters.
That's
okay. You want to do that? Then Cincinnati. Oklahoma only beat Cincinnati by 14. Oklahoma State beat Cincinnati by 32.
Sure. Okay.
Fuck you.
I agree with that, but that muddies the water a little bit about one team being. I don't know how you could possibly say Oklahoma State is a definitively better team than Oklahoma this year.
Because Oklahoma hasn't beaten anybody good besides Texas. That was a crazy game. They always get up for that game.
SMU's pretty damn good this year. They're in contention for
0 wins against a team with a winning record. They suck. I watched them. I think they suck.
6-2.
They suck. They're going to lose this week. Hint, hint. In a little bit here.
Iowa State's okay.
Iowa State is good. Iowa State is good.
Okay. Yeah, they haven't played a ton of tough.
But that was in Norman.
They also beat Texas. And
Patty C, what are you going to do?
That's not a road game. That's not a road game.
What side are you on, Patty C? Are you going Sooners?
I'm just saying I don't feel great about it, but I'll roll OK State because I believe and because it is in Stillwater. What's that you would say, Nick?
Do you want to read a chapter out of the box?
Only a dual lock. You guys,
you can read youtube.com/the college experience. Okay. Look, that is more. Should we just read that the rest of the episode?
I want to pull a passage out.
Yeah. It's like what I'm sure he was living at that point. He might have been living in Malibu. He's probably fucking models, you know.
He's talking about painting his shoes black. He's the only dude on the field with black shoes. Pretty gangster. Switzer's like, hey, don't say anything about this. I don't know. This shit's fucking cool.
Yeah, Switzer's kind of my coach too. What did he brought a shotgun to the airport? That's great. You guys know that story? Barry Switzer. Forgot to board the. I'm trying to board the plane with a shotgun.
Dude, that happened to me. My sister had been like at
a shotgun.
Not a knife this long though, and I'm taking her bags right because I only have one bag right, and I'm boarding her bag, and they're like I'm running it through, and I just do one check on her stuff before. There's a fucking serrated blade this long. I'm like, I just hold it up. The whole airport's like ah.
Yeah, and you didn't own it like Barry Switzer says. Yeah, it's my shotgun. I take it wherever I go.
I'm not as big a man.
Is that not allowed? I'm gonna have to plead the fifth here. I had no idea.
Switzer's like, well, this is the only shotgun we run. All right, we fucking wishbone offense. We got a guy Busta Rhymes. All right, Florida State's heading to Heinz or acupuncture, whatever the fuck they're calling it.
Kreischer.
Yeah,
Bert Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer. He's from Florida State grad.
There you go.
All right, so Pat Narduzzi's shitting on his team, shitting on his staff. He said he had a team meeting. Things got better. They're catching 21.5 against Florida State. Gosh, beginning of the year, I was like, no way that Florida State would win this game. But Pittsburgh does not look like Pittsburgh.
Still,
And
you talk about a team that
they
gets
just lost
up-
by 51 at Notre Dame.
well, that normally that means you get up, but with Narduzzi calling him out, you got to wonder about, do the players even want to play for him?
For me, the deciding factor was I think Jordan Travis has a legitimate chance at winning the Heisman right now, and that's why I think Florida State lays it on as much as they can here. I'm going to lay the big number.
That might be a smart.
Should we
idea.
pay at all attention to the history? This is a series that dates back to 1971. Pitt leads the all-time series, and get this: Florida State hasn't beaten Pitt, or they've only beaten them once since 1980.
Make it twice.
Pitt fucks with them.
Pitt does fuck with them. And look, this game kind of the fact that obviously Notre Dame, that game was in South Bend at a Kreischer Stadium. Pittsburgh did hand Louisville a 17-point loss. Unbelievable considering how bad Pittsburgh has been the rest of the season.
And Louisville outgained it by like 300 yards. So they just couldn't kick field goals. That Heinz Field has that tall ass grass. You can't fucking kick field goals there. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be half empty.
Is Florida State looking ahead to Miami at all?
Oh yeah, give me the points. Narduzzi, come on. Narduzzi is a dog. Normally hits. Just I thought that last week and I lost by 58 or whatever the fuck that number was.
I think I'm on Pitt. I'm
on Pitt.
It's getting cold right now in the Northeast.
NC
Right?
Nick, NC Nick's going Florida State.
I'm on the Knowles.
I'll play your fucking music. The chat's asking for it. I refuse to think Florida State's that good.
The music,
and
I'm not liking it.
I know. I'll play it though.
Doing the Seminole rap. We are the Seminoles of Florida State. We know we're good. Some say we're great.
I'm trying to get this fucking weather report for Pittsburgh pulled up.
I mean, I just try to plug the Modest Cheese.
51 degrees at kick.
Oh, it's not that bad.
No,
I'm seeing 35. Oh no, that's right now. Okay.
The game's at 3:30. The hottest point in the day. That won't be an issue.
There's been some snow up there, but if it's 51, that won't be that big of an issue.
Yeah. Virginia Tech heading into Louisville, Kentucky. This game goes back to 1979. Hokies are 6-2 all time. If anything, Louisville hasn't beaten Virginia Tech since fucking Browning Nagel. That was 1992. I don't even know. That actually might be. That might be Brom. Actually, I think that's Brom. I think Nagel went to the NFL in '91, right? So I think that's Brom. They haven't beat him since Brom. Brom's taking him back. Look, this is a huge game. Both teams very much alive for the ACC championship.
Unbelievable, unbelievable thing to say and have it be true.
Yeah. Louisville's laying 9.5. Not so fast. Give me the 9.5 and the Hokies. Louisville 28, Virginia Tech 20, something like that. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm going to disagree with you again. I think Louisville at home this year has been absolutely fantastic. Their average margin of victory is 30 points at home. The closest game was a 13-point win over Notre Dame, where Notre Dame put up a garbage touchdown with a minute left to make it closer than it appeared. And look, Virginia Tech's turning a corner, right? Well, they've won 3 out of 4. The thing in common was that all 3 of those games were at Lane. And they were against shitty opponents.
All right,
Wake,
you sold
Syracuse.
me. You sold me.
Here's the thing.
You sold me.
Didn't they keep it close for like 3 quarters against Florida State? And then
It's
Florida
easy
State
to see a tide turn.
Yeah, but they had a kick return. But Nick swayed me. I'm laying it with Louisville.
Yeah, 9.5. You got to go Louisville here.
Yeah. All right. I'm excited for this one. We got a little in-state battle. Patty C was talking about this one back in July. The Warriors of Merrimack are heading into the McGurk to take on the UMass Minutemen. I tried to tell you guys last week, but you guys didn't want to listen. That UMass is better than Army, and Jeff Monken going cha wasn't going to work. Don Brown, I do have a ticket over 2.5 wins for UMass. Don't fuck this up, Don. Right? They beat Merrimack. We've cashed. They beat Merrimack, and we have cashed. Patty C, are they going to beat Merrimack?
Score app isn't even showing the spread. No one gives a rat's ass about this.
Whoa, I do
Like-
because I have a
Yeah,
fucking
you have
ticket.
the over. Yeah.
They just beat Army. I think they ride that momentum. Maybe that Lynch Adams, that running back, can go off again.
They're laying 21. Is that too much?
Oh, that's too much.
I agree. Actually.
Warriors.
Give me Merrimack plus the 21. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Sure. Merrimack.
Okay. Yeah, you're fucking making fun of this game. I got a fucking couple $100 right on this
That's
game.
true.
Fuck you, buddy. Houston is heading to Waco, Texas. Take on the Baylor Bears. This series dates back to 1950, and Baylor has a 1-game lead. This is fun. Baylor's laying 4.
Kind of an important game for the newcomers to the Big 12.
Baylor's laying 4. Wrong team favored. Manjack didn't play last week. Your boy Patty C.
Manjack is the man. Got him on the fantasy.
Yeah, I think you take Houston. Take Houston on the money line. They're going to win this game. Houston's better than Baylor this year.
You're not a little worried that Houston on the road has been a pile of dog shit so far?
This is Texas. All
They
right.
lost to Rice on the road. They lost to Texas Tech by 21 on the road, and they lost to Kansas State 41-0 on the road.
But
I'm going Baylor.
they were up 28 on Rice on the road. Just so you know, they blew that lead. But
Houston's whoever their AD or who's responsible for their scheduling is fucking unbelievable. They leave the state once in the first
and they still suck.
14
I
weeks
don't know
of the
how it
season.
happens. They got
Also,
they're
second of back-to-back road trips here.
that's true. But are the Baylor fans even showing up? Because I think they're out on Aranda.
Why
What
should
else
be
is there
there
to do in
be
Waco?
Start
join
a
a
cult.
cult.
Start a cult. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you. That's true.
Have a bunch of chicks fuck you. Shoot a few machine guns.
Claim your Jesus
Yeah.
reborn. It sounds like a lot of things to do in Waco. Look, what do you make of that UCF game? They went on the road.
The Baylor one, nothing. Means absolutely nothing.
You don't think it
That
was,
was just a crazy game.
You don't think was it luck though? Was it skill? What enabled them to make up a 28-point deficit or something to that effect?
I mean, UCF sucks too. I think a little bit of both.
UCF has one of the best offenses
They're
in the country.
3-5, dude.
It's still they almost beat fucking Oklahoma.
I know Oklahoma. That's my point. Oklahoma sucks.
Well, maybe they just can't get it done.
I locked I locked up UCF that week. All right, and you made fun of me. All right.
Look, I do think Houston's a better team, so I'm going to take Houston.
That reminds me of our bet. What was it? Was it no new Big 12 team would reach 9 wins?
Yeah.
The only chance you have is BYU, who's
The
5
team that I
3.
said. The team that I
So,
said.
If BYU wins out, you guys win the bet. Good luck.
That ain't
with that.
happening.
Yeah.
What was it? 5 shots on air? We're gonna have to do that on like a Saturday and make that show early. Because
BYU,
I don't want to sleep at the studio.
BYU gets what? Cincinnati, Oklahoma. No. Who's their remaining schedule? If they win this week, they can do it, right?
No, I
No,
don't
they have
think so.
Stillwater. They have Stillwater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
What a terrible year. for the
BYU could have
newcomers.
done it. No, well, I knew Cincinnati's bringing in a new coach. Holgerson kind of punted on. He doesn't even try to fucking recruit Houston. He's like Paul Johnson in a way.
Yeah.
And then
UCF shit the bed.
So,
Well,
right now in
Only
Big
getting
12
hurt didn't help.
Malzahn's overrated, dude. He's too gimmicky. He's over the top
Yeah.
gimmicky.
and in Big 12 play, Cincinnati 0-5, UCF 0-5,
No.
Houston
Oh, okay. Houston's 1.
1-4, BYU 2-3. So the newcomers have not fared well.
BYU undefeated at home in the Big 12.
We knew that was the
Yeah.
one place where it was
I
gonna be a
think
tough
I think those numbers are deceiving though. I think that those teams are much more competitive than those numbers indicate. But
How many mentioned shots and GBO Farms popped his head up? shots. Why you buying?
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this one. Missouri is catching 15.5 at Georgia. You know, they've only beaten Georgia once ever. Series dates back to the 1960s. No, they're trying to fool you. Georgia's going to fuck them up. I will lay the 15.5. Georgia, look, Missouri's strength is their passing attack. Georgia's strength is their secondary. No, Not going to happen between the hedges. Everyone thinks it was a close game last year in Columbia, Missouri. That's because that's a crazy road trip. Georgia's going to fuck them up. I will lay the 15.5. Patty, see you?
Georgia has been really slapping a lot of teams, although only beating Vanderbilt by 7. I do feel like maybe that was just them going on the road and not paying any attention to
Mizzou?
Vanderbilt. Georgia.
No, they won by like 16 or something, didn't they?
No, 17. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
I think Missouri's a very good team. I think Missouri's a fucking very good team, and I think on that alone, I want to take Missouri to cover. But look, is Georgia probably going to be up for this game? And is it in Athens? Yes, those are both things that scare me away from locking Missouri. But I feel like Missouri is a good enough team to keep it close.
No. Missouri's a little bit of fool's gold. They're having a good season. I took the over on Missouri, locked it up. Your boy Dundee cashes, but they did barely beat Middle Tennessee.
Dude, they
did make a 60. They did make a 64-yard field goal or something. SEC all-time record. Like they have had.
Well, that game was tied anyway. That would have gone overtime.
What about the Middle Tennessee?
And they beat Kansas State.
What's your Middle Tennessee excuse?
Well, okay, they didn't play great in that game, and yes, they squeaked by.
Then you did a trick play
Memphis.
to beat Middle Tennessee.
They beat Vandy by the same amount that Georgia did in
GBO
Nashville.
Farms. He says Missouri fucking sucks. All right.
Oh, there you go. There you have it.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yeah.
Georgia's better than Missouri, but Missouri has,
No.
I'm kind of agreeing with Patty C here, and maybe it's.
Do they have an answer for Luther Burton?
Yes.
Maybe probably.
They have the best secondary in the country.
Maybe it's me wanting to see a close game here, but I'm gonna ride Missouri also. But I damn sure don't feel good about it because we could just see Georgia really flex their muscle here.
I can't wait to talk shit to you guys this weekend. 35-10
well,
final.
Here's the thing.
I'm close. I thought long and hard about this.
So Georgia beating Auburn by 7, beating South Carolina by 10. Granted, that was earlier in the season. They look like a different team now.
Yeah,
but maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm staying away from it.
Well, this is one you shouldn't stay away from. Tulane's had a great run. They won a little, what was it? The Cotton Bowl against USC last year. Willie Fritz turns down Georgia Tech, goes back to New Orleans. Michael Pratt turns down SEC money to stay in New Orleans. But one thing I know is when you go to Greenville, North Carolina, you lose. All right. So the series dates back to 1991. There's a reason why ECU is a 5-game lead. Tulane might have won in New Orleans last year, but 2 years ago, Michael Pratt, Goldilocks, came up to Greenville and got the tar beaten out of him because that's what happens. So when I see my Pirates getting 17 points, they covered against the Roadrunners in your little filthy Alamo Dome. Moses Malone
barely touchdown 15 seconds for that cover.
Great teams cover. Great teams cover. All right. And that ECU is covering. You guys want to get crazy? Plus 700 on the money. Tulane keeps playing with their fucking food, right?
I agree. I'm gonna take the points. Tulane as a favorite this year. I'm sorry, Tulane is a double-digit favorite. They're 0-4 ATS. So I agree. I'm gonna take the point. Don't even consider a money.
Hear me out. Hear me out. They haven't gone. Look at Rice. No one shows up to those games at Rice, right? At Memphis doesn't have Liberty Bowl is great, but they don't sell that shit out. They're going into G Vegas. Telling you, ECU's hungry. I don't think
they're gonna sell out G Vegas either,
buddy. They're gonna sell it out. All right, they're gonna be dancing in the streets.
I think the Pirate fans are, they've
out on Mike Houston.
They've thrown in the towel in this season.
ECU wins on the money line. You could take that to the bank, buddy.
You know what the most confusing thing about Tulane, and probably the thing that throws me off most, is that they should have beaten Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is sitting there at 7-1 and potentially an SEC West champion here. And you're thinking, okay, that means Tulane without Pratt, if they had him, they probably would have won that and should be the same team or better than they were last year. However, when you look at the rest of their results, like you said, lackluster, playing with their food a lot. ECU has sucked ass though, but I guess I'll roll with you. I'll take your word.
Willie Fritz doesn't just walk into Greenville. All right, I don't care who.
7-1 and 1-7. Here has Mike Houston's team checked out?
Guys, we're being funny here. but I really believe ECU is live to win this fucking game.
All right.
All right.
Like I thought ECU played, especially in the first half, they played really tough in UTSA, and I saw a lot of fight.
Well, maybe this is your UVA UNC moment that I called a few weeks ago.
There we go.
You see
Let's
the
go.
two teams and you say, hey, this team is better than that.
Well, let's go to the Patty C Bowl. UCF is heading to Nippert Stadium.
I don't even want to talk about Cincinnati.
But hey, we're still alive to cover. We just have to. Do we have to win out? What are we, 2-6?
Yes. This will seal the deal. Me and Patty's lock battle as far as over/under season total of 5.5.
All right. Scott, I almost want Scott Satterfield to lose out to expedite this firing process, but I got to hold on for one more week here.
They're not going to fire him in year one. They paid Louisville like $5 million for him.
God,
it sucks.
Noah behind the scenes saying, "Hey, Patty C, what about Cincinnati in the Big 12 championship game?" I take a look at the standings, and Cincinnati's dead last.
Crash and
Dude,
burn.
this is almost locked. Like I think UCF is a lot better than Cincinnati.
I agree.
Should we lock this? The only thing is it's probably going to be cold.
Here's the thing. I think the wheels have fallen
Those little
off
Orlando sissies
against
might,
Cincinnati.
yeah.
They should have been 3-0, right? They should have beaten Miami and Miami, Ohio, who's a decent MAC team, right? Probably going to be in the MAC championship game. They blew that one. They played Oklahoma pretty well, right? They fucking choked their ass off against BYU and made stupid ass plays.
You don't go in the Provo and win.
And they got their ass whooped by Iowa State. They played Baylor pretty damn close, but handed them that game. But again, they got their ass whooped against Oklahoma State. So 2 ass whoopings in the last 3 weeks. They fucking suck. I gotta roll UCF.
I almost think it's lock. It's almost lockworthy. Like on Saturday morning pregame show, I might lock that thing up.
Here's the thing. UCF also one of the other teams that is even more remarkably like in a yardage advantage per game against their opponents, but also a terrible record. They're both kind of anomalies.
Miles on does that shit though. He'll go for like he'll go on like a 10-minute drive and then go for like a 4th and 6 at the 15-yard line and not get it. And it's like you got 0 points after all that. These coaches, we should do a whole hour-long podcast on these coaches being fucking ridiculous on these 4th down calls.
Analytics.
What was that game we were watching last like one of the best games last week? I think it was Oklahoma, Kansas. They both they're both opening drives. Went for like 4th and 6 inside the 20. You're like,
has everybody lost their mind?
Yes, everyone has lost their mind. It's like you used to have a whole game left. What the fuck are you doing? Penn State, Maryland. They call this a rivalry. This is the one. This is one of the ones they forced down our throat. All right, this is a fantastic stat here. So they did play in 1917, so they do have history on their side. However, for it to be a rivalry, you can't have Maryland be 3-42 all time against Penn State.
Oh. Ouch.
All right, there was one tie actually that happened somewhere in there.
God.
No wonder
Things
why
have changed them.
they lose all their talent, in-state talent, to Penn State and others.
Well, yeah, I think if you look at that head to head, you say, "Where do I want to go?" Oh,
well,
I
Penn
guess I'll go
State
Penn
has
State.
long been raiding Maryland,
Yeah.
DC, Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
Evan Royster is their all-time leading rusher. Westfield High School. Come on. Not Franco Harris, not Kajana Carter, right?
There you go.
Evan fucking Royster,
There you
Northern
go.
Virginia.
No Blair Thomas love.
There you
Penn State's laid 8.5. I mean, I wanted to lock Penn State, but
I'm locking it.
we should. Remember when I took Maryland that one year and they lost 59-0 to Penn
Yeah,
State?
hasn't this also been one of the games that's just been a absolute blowout every time too?
Except COVID. Maryland beat them in COVID year.
That's right. And
COVID year. Yeah,
they
we should lock this. Let's
refused to shake their hand.
I
lock this.
foolishly took Maryland. I didn't bet it, but I took them last week. And come on, dude, we're squarely in the middle of Fade Loxley season. Penn State coming off of a lackluster performance. Yes.
We haven't had a triple lock yet.
Wait.
Lock it up.
I do want to point out one thing. Okay. Actually, Penn State's offense not as bad as I thought it was. So, yeah. Okay, lock it. Lock it.
All right.
Let's go.
Oh, triple lock?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
play
what
the
that
music.
means, folks.
Do you think Bird Stadium or whatever they're calling it now will have a
They
decent?
ruined that stadium too.
Yeah.
Let's call it some stupid name now.
Yeah.
That's Jenna Watson's favorite song. Jenna in the chat. She loves the Friends to Eternity song.
Hey, don't we all?
Ask your local radio disc jock for that jam.
That's right. If that doesn't make you feel good, nothing will.
I think local radio is dead, Colby. Radio's dead, Colby.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always
Play it on AM.
as someone that sits in LA traffic, 2 hours every day. I'll turn on the radio sometimes, right? Local radio, and because I sometimes you just you're bored, right? And these callers got to be fake because they still have callers calling in. They got to be like the brother of the fucking host, right? It's like, dude, I need somebody. Come on, do me a solid. Could just come in.
There are a lot of old people in the world, Colby.
Come in, just call in and order for Depeche Mode. You know what I mean? And just come on.
I got you covered.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Speaking of getting you covered, we got a big one going on in the Sun Belt. JMU heading Center Park Stadium. We're hitting Mark Whitten. Used to hit dingers.
Just got me feeling a certain kind of way here.
JMU currently 8-0. I actually think if they win this is their hardest game left, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because then they're home to UConn, home to App State, and at Coastal Carolina. Maybe the Coastal game you could talk.
Those are all tough games.
UConn
maybe not so much, but UConn's still okay. They've had some decent
JMU's
outings.
8-0.
Dude, 8-0. Let's be honest though.
I know. Yeah.
You play similarly talented teams.
I know UConn.
You got to show up.
Fresh off that natty in 20. JMU's laying 5.5. I'm going to lay it. I'm going to lay it.
I disagree. Patty seems busy over there trying to get his shotgun going.
I'm going to disagree. Oh no, I'm not going to disagree. I'm going to fucking agree completely. Jalen Green, by the way, the top sack rate per game.
Yeah, we got Derek Thomas 2.0.
In the history of fucking college football.
It's Charles Haley 2.0. Charles Haley, former JMU Duke.
What you did there. Look, we're fucking winning this game by 20. All right, here we go.
I agree.
This is for
I
the good
disagree.
people in Harrisonburg, Virginia, out there.
Let Patty take his shotgun.
Oh, there we go. YouTube.com/the college experience.
Nothing like shotgun and a Mick Ultra so you can watch your calorie intake at the same time.
That's right. Getting older, getting wiser.
Well, there'll be a few of those people at Center Park Stadium doing that. All right.
Where was I here? Dude,
few being the operative word. No one's coming to that game. Maybe we fill out that stadium.
As you know, for undefeated teams, the longer the season goes, the more pressure mounts. This was a 42-40 game at JMU last year. I like the home dog here to at least cover. I think this is a close game.
I think JMU is going to be laser focused, knowing that this is
looking like a huge test. JMU gets it done. The game's on ESPN2. By the way, this Akron game, they were down 27-10. They have scored 14 in a row, and they're getting the ball back with 3 minutes. Let's go Zips! I need this. I have the over. You better win this fucking game, you cowards. All right. Next up, thank you, universe. NC Nick talks a lot of trash, in my opinion.
Who, me?
NC Nick talks a little bit too much trash, in my opinion.
What are we talking
Coming
about?
from Colby, this is unbelievable.
About this division in football. The Big Ten West.
Yes, true. I back you up on that.
If my points weren't ever proven this year, then I don't know what you guys are looking at.
Well, luckily, someone pays attention to the history of the sport. Luckily. So Iowa, which by the way, no longer gonna Brian Ferentz gone after the year.
I hope they lose. I hope they lose.
No. I hope they win out, so they're stuck in a jam.
Yeah.
I hope they go to the CFP. Well, they win the Big Ten championship.
I hope they lose next year.
You can't fire the offensive coordinator if you go to the fucking playoffs, can you?
That would be fucking amazing.
Please, let's go. Iowa.
They could go, right? 11-2 Big Ten champion Iowa.
Yes.
Would be in the playoff.
Yes, let's go. All right. And they got that stud of a quarterback, Deacon Hill.
He might be their worst yet. That's unbelievable.
Every year it gets worse.
Well, McNamara got injured, but I mean, look, this series dates back to 1897. So here's what I love.
They long for the days of Spencer Petras.
That's right.
Iowa has a 25 game lead. Like I said, 1897 when they first played, but folks, they're playing this at Wrigley Field. If you don't know the history, the Chicago Bears played there for a long fucking time. All right. They won 4 championships in the NFL at Wrigley Field, but also Northwestern used to play there, and several college football games, college basketball. What the fuck am I talking about?
That'd be fun.
This is the place where Jim Thorpe played his final game. All right. I mean, there's just so much history here, over like 100 years of college football history. Wrigley Field.
Don't they have to like
NFL should do this shit, man?
Cut off one of the end zones in the corner.
This is like when MLB plays at fucking Field of Dreams. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fucking awesome.
This is really, and look,
the ivy on the wall.
CJ Sullivan with a great joke. They don't even have, because before this happened, they played at Wrigley like 10 years ago, and they had to switch sides.
Yeah.
It was only like 50 yards. He's like, with this, no one, you don't have to worry. No one's going to get in the end zone. It's just going to be field goals.
The entire game is going to be played on one half of the field.
Iowa's laying 5. That's way too many points. Give me Northwestern +5, but Iowa wins it 10-9. By the way, we should lock the under 30.5. What are we doing here?
I tend to agree with Colby. I think laying more than a field goal with Iowa versus scrappy Northwestern team is the wrong way to go. Let me go Wildcats.
And I think Rob Donaldson in the chat says he's going to this game. Hell yeah, that is awesome.
Northwestern has shown up at times. I mean, they probably played Penn State better than they definitely played Penn State better than Iowa did. So I don't know. They are surprising. Do they keep their interim coach moving forward? What are they sitting at? 3-5 or 4-4?
4-4.
4-4.
What are you talking about? They could win the Big Ten West. It's a huge game.
This is a huge game.
They better keep him. If he goes bowling, are you fucking kidding me?
I do feel like this is probably a better home field advantage for Northwestern than playing at their actual home stadium. I think you got to take the points here. Or take the points.
Yeah, take the points. ULM is heading to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Series dates back to 1982. Southern Miss is a 3-game lead. Southern Miss laying 2.5 points. No, wrong team favored. Give me ULM at home. Never fade a Bowden in a road game.
In a terrible game.
NT Nick, what are you doing here in Hattiesburg?
Yeah, don't let Southern Miss try to trick you because they hung around with App State, for most of that game. They're still garbage. They're still on auto fade. Yeah, I'll go ULM.
If anything, that's just a warning sign that App State is falling on very hard times right now.
True.
And look, I think Bowden has played some really close games and had some close losses. 1-point loss against App State himself. 1-point loss against Texas State. 10-point loss against Georgia Southern. 10-point loss against Arkansas State. This team is not that far from having a decent record. Maybe if they win all 4 of those, they're 6-2.
Oh yeah,
Bowden 2-6 is a shame.
And Terry Bowden, like I think as far as FBS coaches, I think he's the only one that still rocks the shirt and tie. Respect.
Yeah, he looks like Danny DeVito with a shirt and tie.
Yeah, we need that. When's that going to come back around? You right? You see the kids in the belt bottoms and shit these days. They're all bringing that.
Not
shit
only
back.
that, they got like the
mean?
collegiate like stripes on the tie. It's fucking cool.
Why'd you run the ball right there, Akron? Akron right now inside the 6-yard line at Kent State. Call timeout. Okay. We got a classic. Maction is the fucking greatest. Biff Poggi, also known as the greatest, suspended some of his team after they got their ass kicked on Friday night last week against FAU. They're heading to H.A. Chapman Stadium to take on. So
it's a long trip.
I'm at a hilarious spot here. So this is a huge game for me. This is going to be on the main screen, Patty C, because I have an over 2.5 wins Charlotte ticket and an under 4.5 wins Tulsa ticket. So
and both could hit right here.
Well, not necessarily, but I think if Tulsa loses this, I'm pretty much home because they're at Tulane, home to North Texas, and at ECU. I feel like probably, and then Charlotte, if they don't get it here,
they got to get 2 of those. They're at 3 and 5 right now.
Tulsa, you mean?
Tulsa, yeah.
They got to get 2. So I'm feeling all right. If Charlotte can win this game, though, I'm feeling great because Charlotte cashes. But Charlotte, if they don't win this, they're home to Memphis, home to Rice, at South Florida. They're probably going to lose out. You got to win this one. Huge game going on. Tulsa's laying 4. Wrong team favorite. I will take the 4 points.
That's not your tickets talking, is it?
Well, no. And I really believe that Charlotte's better. Now, Charlotte sucks on offense, but Tulsa sucks in general. The better unit wins. All right, let's go. Charlotte +4. Yes. Under Cuffler, rushing touchdown. The Zips take the lead, and my over
Nice.
3 wins stays alive.
Now make the extra point too, in case you got it at 3.5.
Oh, what's this flag? Excessive celebration. Come on. The battle for the wagon wheel. Maction Wednesday nights are fantastic.
Now, getting back to this game, because
is excited as 2 1-7 MAC teams go at it.
I gotta love it. You gotta love it. Back to this game, though. What were you saying, Nick?
This pod's getting a little long in the tooth. I disagree. I mean, look, it's hard to lay points when a team has lost the last 2 games 111-20. But this is a long road trip for Charlotte, and they're completely void of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Give me Tulsa.
Yeah, I'm with Nick. Give me Tulsa.
Wrong.
What are we? Party bro? Showboat buddies.
Yeah, showboat buddies. Let's go though. We got to rapid fire.
Yeah, let's go.
Auburn, Vanderbilt. I was baffled by this. The series dates back to 1893. You know they're all tied up.
That's wild.
Vandy's won 2 of 3. Auburn did win the last matchup only by 7, but the series is dead even. Unbelievable. Auburn's laying 12.5. You know what? Give me Vandy in the points. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Man, I ended up laying the points. I don't feel great about it, but perhaps Auburn can take the momentum of last week's 14-point win over Mississippi State and put up a similar score against Vandy.
Patty C?
I mean, if you kept it within 17 against Missouri, if you kept them within 17 against Georgia, I do think 12.5 against Auburn, very doable at home. Give me Vanderbilt.
Hawaii heads to Reno. Series dates back to 1920. Nevada's got a 3-game lead. Nevada's laying 3.5. Lay it. Hawaii's in trouble right now.
What does the manager say in Major League? He's like, you win one game, then win another, and that's called a winning streak.
That's what Ken Wilson's feeling in Reno.
They've won 2 in a row. Make it 3. Go with the home team.
Patty?
I'm gonna disagree. I'm on the Rainbow Warriors here. Give me Hawaii.
Georgia Southern, Texas State. I'm kind of intrigued by this matchup here. If you would have told me that beginning of the year, I would have not agreed. The series goes back to 2005. Texas State won the first ever matchup. Ever since then, they lost 5 straight. Texas State's catching 2 at home. Texas State, this is a great letdown spot. Southern just beat the shit out of State. Texas State gets a dub in San Marcos. Lone Star beers for everybody. Patty C, what are you doing?
GJ Kinney doing great things there. Although Georgia Southern a better team. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, I mentioned this last week that Texas State's been a nice story, but they had a stretch of 5 games from mid-September to mid-October, which is probably the softest in the nation. We're talking Jackson State, Nevada, Southern Miss, ULM. The one decent game was Louisiana. I think Georgia Southern is just the better team, and Texas State's, they're feeling a little bit of reality that they're not there just yet. So let me go Southern.
Dude, they're packing that place. We were watching that game. Score. That fucking stadium's rocking these days. Kenny's got that place selling out.
Yeah,
that's the difference. Next up, we go. UNLV heads to Albuquerque. Series dates back to 1978. UNLV has a 2-game lead. They're catching the Rebs are laying 10 in Albuquerque. Too many points. Give me New Mexico plus 10. Patty, what are you doing here?
Barry Odom's got those boys playing good ball. Give me UNLV on the road.
It seems too obvious.
UNLV all day. I think I'm locking this up. New Mexico's trash.
No, it's too obvious. This stinks. This line stinks to high hell.
I'll consider a lock, but I'm definitely on UNLV.
Did we skip over the Cal Oregon game? Or are we getting
I'm going right now. Cal Oregon for the final time. The series dates back to 1899. You fucking TV execs, get this. Get this, folks. They're 42, 42, and 3 all time against one another. We're just going to destroy that. We're just going to destroy it. 80 is the 88th meeting.
I'm okay with destroying Cal Oregon.
No, dude, this is a great fucking rivalry. Dude. This is a
look,
good.
I'm Mr. East Coast bias, but I mean, who cares about this rivalry?
I like this.
You know
rivalry.
what's fun though is the Pac-12's existence. It was fun. That even if you weren't dialed in completely, you knew they were playing ball out here against each other. It's kind of its own little brand. You tune in every now and then and be like, oh, they're doing what we expect them to do on the West Coast. Now that's all going by the wayside. This is a great rivalry. Cal's going to cover this.
I you know what? I feel like I should lock this. Yeah.
Yeah, especially the letdown spot after Oregon.
You know where Justin Wilcox went to college? Oregon. All right.
Yeah.
It's personal. He always plays them better.
Lock it up.
Double lock.
Double
Let's
up.
go.
24.5.
Too many.
I'm taking the points. Handful too many, but I'm not gonna lock it with you guys.
Sorry, I thought you already voiced your opinion there. Marshall, App State, folks. This is a rivalry game. There's a whole Wikipedia page and everything. All right.
This feels lock-worthy.
No, this was a honestly, they played in the FCS playoffs, I think, multiple times.
Two very disappointing teams this year.
Very disappointing. App State's laying 3.5 in Boone, Kid Brewer Stadium. That's enough for me. I will lay the 3.5 with App State. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm taking the points, man.
I'm taking them too.
Nope.
More than a field goal. I'm taking the points.
I think
The
they're
wrong
baiting
team
you.
favorite entirely. App State is ass.
Well, Marshall's lost 4 in a row in the last 3 by double digits. It's not like Marshall's any good, but I just think App State plays everybody really close, so I'm going to take the points.
No. App State minus the points. They win by 7. Louisiana Tech heading to the Flamin' Libs. Take on Liberty. First ever matchup between these two. Liberty's laying 16.5. Lay it. Louisiana Tech sucks. Liberty's going to fuck them up. That home atmosphere too on a Saturday is going to be rocking. There's no alcohol in the stands.
You know what's been funny is that
Allegedly.
maybe it's because of the lack of alcohol, but Liberty's been more impressive on the road. The last 2 home games, we're talking about 1-score wins over a 2-6 MTSU squad.
Those
and
are
a winless
weeknights.
Sam
No,
Houston
no, no.
State.
No.
True, but they were still packed.
Yeah, but they're not as lit as a Saturday. Saturday, you're in the dorms.
Akron pulled it out.
Yeah. Saturdays, you're in the dorms. You're lighting sparklers. You're doing all that good
I'm gonna
shit.
take the points.
Right?
I think Liberty does win, but I think it's a couple too many.
No. Patty, what are you doing here?
I'm taking them too.
You're
I'm
wrong.
riding with Nick a bunch here.
Jerry Kill in New Mexico State are laying 3 against Rick Stockstill and the Blue Raiders. Tell you about NASCAR. Rick Stockstill will tell you about NASCAR. Look, Jerry Kill's a fucking machine. Diego Pissing Pavi is the greatest quarterback in college football. I will never fade them again. I will lay the 3 with New Mexico State. They win by 10. Nick?
I agree. I think with the win here, New Mexico State is in second place, or at least tied in second place in the CUSA. I think it's a big game. I think they're focused and they're at home and they're going to win.
Patty?
Long trip from Middle Tennessee out to the desert. Yeah, 3 is very doable. I'll have them cover that.
The Kansas Jayhawks are heading to Ames, Iowa. This is a huge fucking game.
Now this is a fun game.
This is a huge
This is the future of the Big 12 in terms of great coaching.
Yes.
You know,
it's a huge game. I mean, this series dates back to 1898. Kansas only has a 6-game lead and they've played almost every fucking year. This is a good spot though. So last year, Iowa State should have beat Kansas. They did a great job shutting Kansas's offense down. They just couldn't make a field goal. That was in Lawrence. Event, you just partied all week. You threw the fucking goalpost in some fucking river or lake in Lawrence. I think it was a lake. I'm locking up Iowa State minus 2.5 points at Ames.
I can't believe they're favored here.
That's why you lock it, buddy.
I couldn't agree more. Perfect spot. Iowa State is hot. Winners of 3 straight, all Big 12 games by double digits, and they're getting Kansas after that big win. Perfect letdown spot for the Jayhawks. You got to ride Cyclones here.
It's the first.
I'm locking with you too.
Yeah.
First win for Kansas over Oklahoma since 1997.
First top 10 win at home since the 80s.
That screams letdown. I'm not going to lock it, but you guys probably right on that.
Utah State is heading to the Snapper to take on Brady Hoke. The series dates back to 1947. San Diego State has a 10-game lead, but Utah State's won 2 of 3, including the Mountain West Championship a few years ago.
This game sucks.
Yeah, I'll lay the 3 with Utah State. Nick?
Definitely. I mean, San Diego State's awful. I don't see how.
I almost lock this.
Yeah, I'll refrain from that, but I'm with you. Utah State.
Patty?
Losing 6-0 in the Snapper to Nevada last week. This team has nothing. Get rid of Brady Hoke. Yeah, I'm on Utah State.
Next up, we go to Morgantown. That's not a lock. That's just me. We got meth heads versus Mormons.
Yeah.
That music deserves to be played. West Virginia's laying 10 against BYU.
That's too many points.
That was a tad too many.
I think it is too. Give me the Cougs plus 10. Yeah, we all agree.
Yeah. West Virginia wins by a touchdown.
SMU is heading to Houston, Texas, take on Rice. This is an old school rivalry, the Mayor's Cup since 1916. SMU is a 7-game lead, but Rice won the last matchup.
Interesting.
You want a live dog, guys?
Definitely.
The Rice Owls are
right.
live to win this fucking
For
game.
sure.
I feel like we've been saying that about Rice lately.
They almost won last week.
Dude,
Lost
at
by
home,
2. Yeah.
at home this year, they already have a win over Houston. They almost beat Tulane at home. Meanwhile, SMU's been getting fat off of cupcakes. The last 4 games: Charlotte, ECU, Temple, and Tulsa. Perfect spot because SMU is overvalued here. Rice at home, lock it up.
Yeah, I would say Rice throttling Tulsa in Tulsa 2 weeks ago by 32 points. You got to roll Rice here.
Yeah, got it. Washington, the Huskies, Michael Penix heading into the Coliseum to take on USC. This series dates back 100 years. USC has a 21-game lead. Washington's won 2 of the last 3, make it 3 of the last 4. I'm laying the 3 with the Huskies in LA. Patty,
this one's hard.
It is.
This one's hard because I've
not
pictured
not betting this game.
Yeah, I guess you got to go Washington because USC has so many warts.
Nick?
I took USC +4 a day ago. I don't necessarily like it, but Washington is my candidate of this week's Oklahoma team, the team that's undefeated, who's due to lose one. So even though I don't like getting behind a soft USC team at home in a big game in a big stage, maybe they pull this out. Give me the points.
Yeah, that's the thing is the home thing. Although they're pretty much the same team. Washington just has a slightly better defense, right?
I trust DeBauer right now. DeBauer's a better coach, I think.
Yeah, that too.
So,
and it looks like fucking what's his name's about to check out, right?
Lincoln Riley. Yeah. Purdue is heading to Ann Arbor, Michigan. They steal, they cheat. Everyone says it. They're gonna have to answer questions in the media this week. It's gonna be fantastic. I don't think they cheat that much than other teams, but hey, Purdue. This series goes back to 1890. Michigan has a 32-game lead. Purdue's catching 32.5 points. Nope. Michigan's going to be in fuck you mood.
Yeah.
Mode, not mood. Lay the 32.5 points. Nick, what are you doing here?
I guess my first reaction was to take the points. Maybe the distractions, make the game closer than it would be. Give me the points, I guess.
No, Michigan is absolutely
they're
at
gonna
this
fuck
point.
them up.
Like
they're
going to start throttling
55-7.
And the college football playoff putting Ohio State in front of them.
Yeah,
they have to be furious. They're going to fuck up teams a lot.
Good point.
Kentucky heads to Starkville, Mississippi. The series goes back to 1914. The series is all tied up. Once again, great fucking rivalry here. They play every year too. Kentucky is laying 3.5. I will lay the 3.5 because I don't think Mississippi State's that good. Nick?
I'm gonna lock it up too. Look, Kentucky's lost 3 in a row, but that was Georgia, Missouri, and Tennessee. I mean, those are all pretty good teams. Mississippi State is probably the second worst team in the whole SEC behind Vandy. This is a get right spot for Kentucky. I'll lock it up and lay the points.
Wrong. Starkville is too lit for Kentucky. Kentucky's counterfeit beefed up their standings on weak teams. Mississippi State covers 3.5.
LSU heads to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I am locking up the LSU Tigers +3. Take it on the money line. Me and Patty C have been talking about this for a while. Look, Alabama has not played any good quarterbacks. When they played Quinn Ewers, they lost. Any team that is capable of passing the football, they caught A&M with a backup quarterback. And I thought Jimbo Fisher kept it too conservative. They have the perfect blueprint, in my opinion. LSU's really good on the defensive line. I think they can bottle up the rushing attack, make Jalen Milroe have to pass the ball. I know LSU's secondary has been horrible, but what better team to play than one where your quarterback plays a little questionable? Meanwhile, Jaden Daniels, he's the best quarterback in the SEC. You're going to have to play catch up with him. It's just a bad matchup for Alabama. LSU goes into Tuscaloosa and wins. Lock up the +3. You coming?
I'm not locking, but I will say this. This was the marquee matchup game I was talking about, not Bedlam. But look, this is probably for the SEC West Championship, knowing that Ole Miss will probably lose to Georgia next week. LSU, I think you're right. Your analysis is spot on.
Yes.
They're going to be too much for Alabama, and Alabama won't be able to keep up offensively.
Nick?
I am on LSU too. It took me a while to get there, but ultimately, the 5th-year senior Jaden Daniels. Do you guys know he has over 50 collegiate starts under his belt?
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
yeah,
Jalen Milroe has less than 10, and that's the deciding factor. The better quarterback play for LSU gets it done.
Mm-hmm.
The Miami Hurricanes are traveling into Carter Finley Stadium. Believe it or not, the series goes back to 1939, and NC State hasn't won since 2008 against Miami, even though they've been ass. Miami's laying 4.5. All right, Pack. All right, Steve Smith can kiss my ass. Why don't you? I'll raise you one higher, Dave Doran. Why don't you tell Michael Irvin can kiss your ass? Another NFL Network guy. All right. I'll take the 4.5 and the Pack at home. Patty?
Yeah, I'm with you. That's too many points. Miami a little bit suspect against similarly quality teams. So
yeah, I mean
Nick?
Miami's coming off 2 straight overtime wins. That's not sustainable. Their 6-2 record could easily be 4-4. Give me the home dog here.
Western Kentucky's heading to El Paso, Texas, the Sun Bowl, one of the greatest stadiums in all the land. The series dates back to 2014. Hilltoppers have never lost, so when they're laying 8.5, you lay it. Nick?
Yeah, good spot to get the Western Kentucky at a value price because they haven't looked great the last couple of weeks, and that's caught up to them, and they lost a couple, but I think they get back to their winning ways here and take care of UTEP pretty easily.
Patty?
I agree. Their losses have been to pretty good teams. Troy, Jacksonville State, Liberty. They're going to get right, even on the road at UTEP.
Yeah. Stanford heading to Pullman, perhaps for the final time. It seems like series is only, 90 fucking years old.
Yeah, just throw it away.
Yeah, just throw it away. It's fantastic. I went to this game too. Stanford has a 9-game lead. Wazoo's laying 13 points.
Lay it.
I'll take the points. Troy Taylor is getting that offense to move a little bit.
I can't lay 13 with the team that hasn't won since September 23rd. I'm on Stanford too.
I guess the Colorado performance, they came back quite a bit.
Yeah.
But still, the Stanford sucks. Give me Wazoo.
They almost beat Washington last week.
That's true, but Wazoo was set up for Wazoo's another counterfeit team.
Boise State heading into Fresno. This game's awesome. This series goes back to 1977. Boise does have a 9-game lead. Chris Peterson to thank. Fresno's laying 3. I will lay the 3 in the Valley. Nick?
I will lay the 3 and lock it up. Away on the road.
NC Nick locking up the Bulldogs.
Boise away from the Smurf turf, just 1-3 straight up, with their only win being a 3-pointer at San Diego State. I don't trust you, Andy Avalos. Give me Fresno.
Patty?
Those losses away from the Smurf turf, a 3-point loss at Memphis, a 1-point loss at Colorado State. Not that bad. However, I do think Fresno State is better, and they will get the win.
Oregon State's heading to Boulder. The series goes back to 1931. Colorado's players got robbed during the UCLA game in the Rose Bowl. Dion, great line saying, they say the Rose Bowl is the granddaddy of them all. Well, granddaddy better cough up some money to cover up my boy's jewelry. Great line.
Dion wearing jewelry on ESPN
great fucking line.
as we speak.
Great line.
Hilarious.
Oregon State's laying 13.5.
How much money do you think in jewelry do you get from robbing the Colorado team? Probably a good chunk of change.
Yeah. What are you doing here, Nick?
I'm taking the points. Colorado just plays close games, especially at home.
Yeah. Patty?
I'm laying them. Oregon State's a way better team than Colorado.
Let's go to the desert. Final game on the slate. UCLA. They lost to Arizona last year in the Rose Bowl. Now they got to go to Tucson, but it ain't Jaden DeLaura that's going to beat him. Noah Fafita, dog. All right. Arizona's catching 3 points. Wrong team favored. Arizona's better than UCLA. Arizona can still get to the Pac-12 championship, and damn if they don't look fire. Give me the Wildcats. Play my music.
WILD. That's WILD. Wildcats.
What are you doing here, Nick?
Home dog. I love it. Sign me up.
Patty?
How can you just sit there and say they're a better team than UCLA? UCLA has played some great ball. Their only losses on the road against Utah and Oregon State
and Arizona.
Not yet. Not yet. What the number's 3?
UCLA's laying 3.
Give me UCLA.
You crazy. All right, folks. We're the College Football Experience. The Sports Gambling Podcast is next in about 18 minutes. So subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Patty C's on Twitter, Patty C831. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC__NICK. I'm on Twitter at DColbyD. Thanks to Noah Beanick behind the scenes as well. Give him a follow at NoahB77_. And make sure you subscribe to the College Football Experience. We'll be back tomorrow morning with our DFS show. Until next time, folks, this is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. I'm trying to play some cool music, but I can't find it. But here we go. Till next time, and we're out of here.
If you see him on the street, then tip your hat his way. You'll know just where he's headed and which game he's gonna play. He's a sharp shooting gunman and always aiming high. He'll win any gunfight. His limit is the sky. We're the gunslingers from San Antonio. We're the gunslingers on the road or at home. Remember the Alamo, for such as we are known. We're the gunslingers from San Antonio.